What's up, everyone? It's me, TheGamer119. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the little opening there. Um, wow, it's been a hot minute. I hope you guys are enjoying your 2021. I know I am enjoying my 2021 so far. My birthday just passed, actually, May 4th. That was when my birthday was. But anyway, welcome to the Sanghelios Act 3 pre-launch live stream. I am one of the creators of the Mythos Universe and one of the main people within Sanghelios production. It is only me right now, but we have a really long stream for you guys. It's really exciting to actually do this. Act 3 starts tomorrow. That is just insane. I can't believe it's actually starting tomorrow. Honestly, it's been one hell of a ride. And Act 3 is actually the last act. If you guys don't know, it won't actually continue after the next 9 episodes. We move on to Series 2, which is supposed to be also releasing this year, which is really exciting as well. So hopefully, sorry about this. Hold on. Excuse me. Whew. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the ending of Act 3, or the ending of Series 1, and then the beginning of Series 2. So this stream is actually split off into 9 different sections. We are on section 2, which is Clans Sanghelios. Section 1 was the Mythos 2020 opening, which technically that video came out this year, but you know, it was pretty much just covering over what we did within Mythos of last year, which was Act 1 and Act 2. And yeah, so if you guys don't know who I am, I'm also the owner of Polychrome Media, or at least one of the, I'm the founder of Polychrome Media. I write in Clans Sanghelios, forge in Clans Sanghelios, direct in Clans Sanghelios, body act, voice act, which I will talk about my character later on in the series. I edit, and I pretty much like orchestrate quite a bit inside the series as well. But this main series, the series Clans Sanghelios, is actually made by Inspector Barry, and I'll go over that a little later in the stream as well. So let me just answer something that I've been asked multiple times before. What is the Mythos Universe? The Mythos Universe is just a culmination of different series created by different creators. There is 11 of us, although there are 12 series within this universe. Who those creators are, I will not share, because they kind of give hints on what series may return, or you know, what series will or might be created by those directors and stuff. So obviously, you know, Inspector Barry is a part of it, and I'm a part of it. So if you know anyone else within the Discord that's a part of it, I mean, you can always just tell by clicking on their name and look at the roles that they have. But they're also a part of the Mythos Universe. You can kind of have your theories on what machinimas are coming back and whatnot. But either way, just keep that to yourself, or like private message me if you're like hoping that a certain series comes back or some series might get created. But yeah, all 11 of us are coming together, creating 12 different series in like just one time period, or not really one time period, but one linear time span of stories. So it's kind of like the MCU in a way, where like, you know, you have the Iron Man movie, and then the Thor movie, and you know, Incredible Hulk movie and stuff like that. But then there's Captain America, which kind of throws it off because it takes place before all that. But ours is not like that. Like, ours starts from the beginning and then goes all the way to the end. So that's how we're gonna do it. And that's honestly how I watch my Marvel movies now. Like, I have to watch it from like beginning timeline order, then go to whatever movies come after. Not release date order. So that's just me. The Mythos Universe actually got inspired by several different creators, or at least I was inspired to pursue this from several different creators. One of the creators is Chronicler177. If you guys don't know him, he's been a machinima director for a long time, even before I got into machinima back on my old channel. Like, he's been around, and he still is around for a very, very long time. So he was a humongous inspiration to this universe that we're working on now. Dan, what is, yeah, I'm drawing a blank, I'm so sorry. Lazy Bunch. I know him as like Dan, or at least like his name on Discord is Dan. But Lazy Bunch Films, like their machinima series and stuff like that, I actually haven't watched their new one. I know that's releasing currently, but I watched the first 2 he created, and I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, which is really bad, because like, if they're gonna be one of my inspirations, I should know, you know, what they created. But let me just go to their YouTube channel really fast. Um, but yeah, they created Reclaimer is actually I'm pretty sure it's coming out. Yeah, it's coming out now. But the first series I watched was the Perfect Soldier Evolution, and then I watched the Perfect Soldier Elimination, and I think that was the trigger for me. Those two series being like episodic, unlike some other stuff that would come out in like parts or like full length movies and stuff like that. I love it. I love it being episodic and short episodes. That was like the trigger and like the main goal I wanted to do for Cleansing Helios when I brought it back up to Barry for the Mythos Universe. So I was like, hey Barry, if we bring back Cleansing Helios, how about we do smaller episodes? Like obviously we have some chunky boys out there, being episodes 16 and 17, and we will have more chunky boys in Act 3. But pretty much the Perfect Soldier, both the Evolution and the Elimination. I actually haven't watched Lone Wolves yet, but I will. I definitely will. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm not watching Reclaimer, because I haven't watched Lone Wolves yet, so I will definitely do that. But they were, I have to admit, the biggest inspiration for the structure of Cleansing Helios. Chronicler was the inspiration for the idea of making a universe like this, because he has this Halo universe that he does, and I think he's still on it right now. Like he uses Halo 3, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 4. He uses all the Halo games, and that obviously you can tell from the Act 3 trailer that we're also going to talk about later on in the stream. That again is another inspiration for us. Like even Lazy Bunch does the same thing. They use Halo Reach. They're using Halo 4 now. And I just love the idea of using multiple Halo games in one concurrent universe. And I know Gengar Studios actually is making his own universe, which I believe is fantastic. More people should be doing this. It just makes everything all interesting. So anyway, those two are the big inspiration, and hope Gengar Studios. I hope we were an inspiration as well with you making your Oblivion universe. So I actually forgot exactly the official name of it, but I'm in it, so that's great. I come back because if you guys haven't watched the original Oblivion, I'm actually in the original Oblivion. And wait, am I saying that right? Wait, hold on. I think the reason why I'm saying Oblivion is because hold on. Let me go here. Yeah. Oh no, it's Obsidian. That's what it's called. Okay, I'm like, why am I saying Oblivion? It's Obsidian. That's what it's called. Okay, so it's called the Legion, by the way. That's the series I'm in. So I'm sorry about that, Gengar. But yes, Obsidian series. That's his universe name. So, oh hey, what's up, Justin? But yes, so there we go. Gengar, I'm sorry for butchering that, but I really hope we were also an inspiration for your Obsidian universe. And he's been a really big help to Cleansing Helios, actually. And I'm sorry, my window is open. It's the summertime. I need some wind. And so you're going to hear quite a lot of noise coming from outside. But anyway, yeah, and I honestly hope that when, Gengar releases his stuff officially, that he would be another inspiration towards us and how we continue our universe and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, those were the inspirations. But now let's talk about Clans of Sanghelios. Clans of Sanghelios being the first series within the Mythos universe, we had to make a statement, and not really like a statement to like the machinima community or anything like that, but we had to make a statement to say, hey, we know we're machinima directors from the past, and we've probably failed at making machinimas before, but we're here now and we're here to stay. And by stay, I mean like we're here to finish what we started. And although it's been touch and go during 2020, because everyone knows how 2020 went, we're here in 2021 concluding the very first series, 26 episodes, and it's the very first series, and I'm just really happy about that. But let me just talk about the original Clans of Sanghelios. There's only 2 episodes out of the original. One's on Inspector Buried's old channel, and the second one's on my old channel when he joined my channel. And they were they were pretty decent for what they were at the time. We were using the 360 Halo Reach, so it was like all the way back then. Oh, what's up, Ed? We didn't exactly have all the cool stuff we had now, and we actually kind of lost some of the cool stuff we had back then, like a lot of the Trusty Snooze mods that were really useful for machinimas back on the 360. We don't exactly have that in MCC, but we do now have a modding community within the PC version of MCC that kind of slivers its way over to the console version, but we mostly use the console version, so it's kind of difficult for us to really utilize the mods as best to their abilities. But we are looking into doing that for like future series and stuff. So Yeah, so the original one, made completely by Barry. I had nothing to do with it. Had a story that was similar in a sense where the Covenant does return to Sanghelios, and then there is a rebellion funding against the Covenant, yada yada yada. That basic plot, yes. But there was an actual story plot to it that we do not explore until Act 3. Literally, Act 1 and Act 2 weren't supposed to go the way they were in the original, but Act 3 now takes off of what the original had planned. What the original had planned, you would have to ask Barry. That would be a spoiler, but now we kind of dive into the original series using Act 3. However, the reason why we didn't do it within Act 1 and Act 2 is because we really wanted to make a world. Like with Clint Sanghelios, we had to make a world on Sanghelios. We had to develop characters very, in detail and stuff. We had to even start. That's the start of our universe. Like again, Cleansing Helios isn't by itself. There's 11 other series with it, but because it is at the beginning, it had to establish a universe, which is why it's 26 episodes and not like 5 or 10 or whatever. It's so far the longest series that we have planned at the moment. So like that is extremely important, which is why we couldn't just dive right into the original story's plot until Act 3. So now we're going to do that in Act 3, and the way Act 3 ended, because we already wrote 26 and stuff, and we're actually filming 26 now. It's actually very emotional, but it's really nice. It's really great. I am one of the scripters for it. Inspector Barry obviously wrote for it as well. Meta, if you guys know who Meta Infinite is, he wrote part of it. He actually wrote a lot of the scripts in Act 2 with me. And the Legit Twinkie, he actually wrote the beginning scene for episode 26. So obviously you have 4 writers on episode 26. So that's how you know it's pretty big, And so I'm really excited to dive into 26. But 26 is actually the only other episode we have to film. 22 I have to edit, but it's fully filmed, and 25 I just need to put together because we have actually an editing team and stuff. So I have to put that together with the music, any VFX and coloring and stuff like that, and that 25 is good to go. But 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, and 24 are already done, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. But yeah, so that was Cleansing Helios in the past. Now let's talk about Cleansing Helios now and why it's such a big deal the way it is now. What's up, Treyaz? 10 out of 10 potatoes. So the way Cleansing Helios is now, presently, is probably the best thing it can be. I've never really made a Halo universe-like series before. What's up? Oh, there's the man. There's Barry, the man, the legend, the myth. I've never made a Halo series so in depth and in excruciating detail in my life. I've made other Machinima series before, but with Cleansing Helios being 26 episodes long, within the Halo universe, obviously we made that disclaimer in the beginning of episode 1 saying this is not a part of the actual Halo universe. But we definitely have to take stuff that was given to us from Halo books and Halo lore, Halo video games and stuff like that, and we have to utilize that somehow. So instead of it being 100% our creativity and our idea, we had to, I guess, work with what we were given from Bungie and from 343 and stuff, and then also what I've been given from Barry, and it was crazy. Yeah, I know, right, Barry? This is actually I've worked on big projects, but Barry, he hasn't worked on big projects like this, and the fact that it's about to end our very first big project, and I don't normally collab with people either, so even that is such an accomplishment for me. It's just absolutely insane. But the way we handled it, right? The way we handled it, I actually got inspiration from Infinite Guardian. Infinite Guardian was an old Machinima series I created back on my original channel, and I had so much fun making it because I added all the voice actors in it. This is before Discord was ever a thing and Skype was still a thing. I added all the voice actors and the creators and stuff like that all in a Skype chat. So we were all in the same Skype stuff. What's up, Elena? I'm here making Machinima series for the first time, absolutely killing it. Yes. Well, I'm not. No. This is not my first time. I've made Machinimas for years. But yeah. So Infinite Guardian, I had all the cast members in that group chat, and we had a blast, coming up with different memes and stuff like that from it. And with Cleansing Helios and the power of Discord, we managed to build such a great community around the idea of costs and where it could go, and then the idea of the Mythos universe and where it's going to go, and like just chatting with the voice actors, the forgers, the body actors, the editor. It's such an amazing experience, and I honestly wish that we can share it with you guys, the viewers. But I guess you would have to actually, be a body actor and voice actor and stuff like that for that. However, we actually do have a role, which I'll get into later on in the stream. If you guys want to join our Discord, we have a fan role for you guys. If you're not actually interested in like body acting or anything like that, we do have that role, and we do also chat in there. So, yeah, just, hop on over in that Discord. But yeah, Clans of Sanghelios presently, 17 episodes strong at the moment. It was definitely a bittersweet moment ending episode 17 because of how many characters we killed off. So many, like quite a bit, like I think half of the cast from 17 we started off in episode 1. Not really half of the cast, maybe like a quarter of the cast that died in 17 we started off in the beginning of episode 1. And like that, it was, and I guess episode 2, I'll count episode 2 as well. It was so sad killing people off, but like now we're at the end game here, and we don't have as many voice actor, like main cast and moderate cast that we did before, and it's so weird not involving like I don't want to spoil anything. I'll talk. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like it not involving certain cast members in Act 3. Like that, I know, right? Buries so much stuff. But yeah, it's so weird not involving those cast members anymore, but they're still in the voice actor chat. Like, they still talk to the voice actors that are still in the series and stuff, and it's so great. Again, like, we don't leave anyone behind. If you voice acted a small role in episode 1 and you don't voice act again, you're still in the voice actor chat. Until your name is on the credits at episode 26, that voice actor chat will still be there. Because we still give opportunities of voice acting for so many other people and stuff. Like, we have so many extra roles, and I really do appreciate those people who actually take the time to voice act those extra roles as well, and not being main characters or returning characters or anything like that. So thank you to our voice cast. We love you guys so much. But yeah, so presently Clans of Sanghelios is doing phenomenal. I love it so much, and I think let me go to my video. No, I don't want to go to the video manager. I was gonna see how many episodes actually reached over 1,000 views. I think like maybe 4 to 5 episodes might have reached over 1,000 views actually. So yeah. I know. Even the main characters still voiced minor roles and stuff like that. Like I think Gengar, Derp, and Daniel, I want to say, and Vidi actually, are like the 4 people that constantly take minor roles, although already either had a major role or have a major role, and they constantly just take roles, and I love it so much. Especially Gengar. Gengar takes so many freaking roles. He probably voice acted like a nice 5 to 10% of the series. So anyway, so I guess that leaves the question: what's the future of Clans of Sanghelios looking like? And I guess that's something I would have to talk about during the stream. I'm not gonna just leave that unspoken of. But before we get into that, let me just talk to you guys about the production of Clans of Sanghelios. Obviously, like every machinima, or most machinimas, it takes certain units to build a machinima, like scripting, forging, voice acting, body acting, editing, and all that other stuff. And some people go the extra mile for CGI and composing and stuff like that. We don't really do composing, although we do have composers in our Discord chat, and we don't normally do CGI, although there has been CGI in the episodes, but like little phantom stuff and stuff like that. Like, we haven't gotten to like detailed maneuvering models and stuff like that. But anyway, scripting. So scripting, before we actually get into scripting, we actually do storyboarding. Me and Barry did that. And we planned out all 26 episodes before even scripting. And then we scripted the episodes for Act 1, then we scripted the episodes for Act 2, and then we scripted the episodes for Act 3. Voice acting, we go ahead and cast the people for Act 1, and then we cast the people for Act 2, and then we cast the people for Act 3, and stuff like that. But we actually don't cast the extra roles until the scripts are done. So we know who the main characters are during the storyboard. And then we know who the main characters are after the acts are completed with their scripts. So we actually start casting when we recreate those new main characters. But that was only for main roles. For extra roles, we actually start casting when the script is done. So that's how our scripting worked. Then there is the voice acting. So we do wait for our voice actors, obviously, but we do give deadlines. I think we give like maybe 2 to 2.5 weeks per lines when the script comes out. Majority of the voice actors do reach those deadlines. Some of them don't, but we do keep on top of our voice actors. We don't like just let them, ignore us or whatever. We do have to remind them because they're probably busy. They probably forget and stuff. So we do remind them, hey, you haven't given your lines. It's past the due date, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, yada yada yada. So they're really nice about it. Like they don't get angry at us for reminding them, but we don't get angry at them for missing the due dates. We just have an understanding, which I love that communication. Then there's forging. Forging, literally every single Clans of Sanghelios map that has been like forged on, not really a custom map like Forge World or Ridgeline or anything like that, but like something that has been forged on, they're all created by our Forge team. Not one map has been downloaded from anything else. Yes, Barry is never on time with his lines. And I think I was late with one of my lines, like just once. But yeah, so our Forge team actually forged all of the maps. And as you can see in the Act 3 trailer, we do go into Halo 2 Anniversary and Halo 3, and yes, those maps are also forged on. I can't talk about too much regarding the Halo 2 Anniversary one, but like ODST, I only know one of the forgers that was able to do this, which was Port Scientist 7. He's also one of our forgers in Clans of Sanghelios. But ODST managed to do the exact same thing he did, which I'm not going to talk about too much. You'll see it when Act 3 starts releasing. But he is a goat. Him and Port are goats, okay? And I only say that because I can't even say it. I can't even explain why they're goats. But I guess ODST, if you're listening to this or if you ever watch this, I thank you so much for doing what you did in Act 3. I know it was a struggle, especially with what you were dealing with, but we really appreciate what you did. Okay, you know what? I will say it. Just watch episode 19, which comes out this month actually. Episode 19 and episode 21 is it? Okay, episode 19 and episode 21. 21 comes out next month. But yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna get into. But yeah, there's the forging. Then there's the body acting. The body actors, they are literally what gives life to this series. Because without body actors, we can't really get this done. So thank you so much to the body actors. Like, you guys are absolutely amazing for like just joining us and like dealing with our like fits or whatever when we get upset for like something not going right, or when like I don't want to say we argue, like the directors argue or anything like that, but we do have like disputes because like we thought one thing should happen and the other director was like, no, it should happen like this or whatever. But yeah, thank you guys for just holding on to the faith that you have in us with getting this done. And I thank you guys for actually, helping us finish Act 3, although school came back in session and stuff, and like the COVID stuff is kind of dying down, so people are going back into school and going back into work and stuff. We thank you guys so much for that. And then the editing team. We had an editing team at the start, back in Act 1 and Act 2, but the editing team came in ultimate clutch with the ending of Act 2 because Barry lost half of episodes 16 to 17. I made an update video about that towards the ending of 2020, but he lost half of it because his computer gave out, and the editing team was like, yo, we got this, and they just helped us remake all. The body acting team again also helped us rebody act everything, and the editing team actually divided the work, and we managed to finish 16 to 17 within a reasonable time before 2020 ended. And the editing team, we had a little bit new editors and stuff like that. But the editing team also came in clutch for Act 3 because Act 3, it was a slow burn. I started a new job. Barry started a new job, so it was kind of hard for us to really maintain Act 3's pacing with Act 1 and Act 2. But they came in clutch. Incognito Pig, or I used to call him Nexus Archangel. That used to be his old gamer tag. He helped us a lot. Velocity, you helped us up, being in PCM and stuff like that. Meta, obviously, you helped us so much. Thank you so much for that, Meta, and you continuously helping us, although still being in the military and stuff like that. Ghost Roll, although you're extremely busy with your internship and your job and your own channel and stuff like that, you helped them a lot in the beginning of Act 3 as well. And Twinkie, thank you for that one time you helped clip episode. Was that 20 or 21? I think it was 21 that you helped clip, or 24 or something like that. Thank you for that. Anyway, I think I thanked everyone. in that editing squad. Yes, I did thank everyone in that editing squad. So yeah, thank you editing team for that. But also thank you Jin and Swift as well for helping us in Act 1 and Act 2. You guys did an amazing job. But yeah, the editing team did come in clutch when we needed them to, and it pretty much, they're also the reason why we're at the stage that we are at now. But yeah, all that happens during a production of a machinima, or at least for us. Then obviously, you know, there are the CGI thing that Daniel did for episodes 9, 12, I think 13. I think he did another CGI, but I don't remember at all. I don't think we have CGI in Act 3, by the way, so don't even try to look for that. Oh, no, actually, no, we're going to have CGI in Act 3. I forgot about that, so just ignore that. Yes, it's more Phantom stuff. Yeah, so in the Discord, which is what I mentioned earlier, like I mentioned that we have a fan role. In the Discord, this is how we actually organized the Clans of Sanghelios production. So we have a section called the Mythos Hub, which is where all the Mythos stuff is going to go. Right now, we actually have been setting up for Series 2, which I will get into that at the ending. Oh, it was 24? Okay, yeah, so Twinkie helped with 24. Yeah, so Series 2 is actually in pre-production right now. It starts production next month, so that's really exciting. But before the 4 chats that were added for the Mythos Hub, we actually had these chats. So the Mythos chat was the first one. It has all the directors within the Mythos Universe. We chatted there and stuff. Then we added the VA chat, which the VA chat is actually called the voice actor chat, which is where we keep all of the people that have voice acted in Clans of Sanghelios, whether they were a side role, a main role, and a moderate role. It doesn't really matter. Like, if you voice acted in Clans of Sanghelios, you're there. Then we have the body actors chat, which that's where our body actors are. We have the world builders chat, which is our forgers. We have the production team chat, which is actually where the original editing team was. And then we added the cost chat. And the cost chat is actually where all of the Clans of Sanghelios people are. So by that, I mean, like, we have the forgers, voice actors, editors, body actors, and the main people for Mythos within there. And we all chat, and that's kind of like our hangout spot and stuff. So we always announce, hey, episode yada yada, it's done. And then people are like, whoa, let's go! And it's just really exciting, and I just love it. Like, I love the enthusiasm, and that's honestly what really hypes me up about the series. It's great when the fans, like, it's great when you guys are excited about a series, but it's even better when the people you work with that have the script or that have seen certain things that you have not seen, and they're even excited, like, equally or even more excited than you are as the creator of it, for it to be released. And that's just so amazing to me, and so amazing to Barry and stuff like that. Like, it's just phenomenal working with such a dedicated team. And one thing I'm really surprised about is that we didn't have to replace not one voice actor in 26 episodes that spanned across a year. That is incredible, in my opinion. Like, usually we probably have to replace a voice actor or whatever, and we had not had to do that at all. And we're already at the end game. Like, literally, I'm waiting for some lines for one character that I'm not going to talk about. It's not really a spoiler at all, but I still don't want to say who it is. But I'm also waiting for Barry's lines. Mr. Barry, where's your lines? That I can say, because obviously he plays the main character. But anyway, yeah. So again, it's been so amazing. So that was the first 6 chats in that category. Then we added the fan base chat, and the fan base requires a fan role, but you don't have to body act, you don't have to do anything for Clans of Sanghelios but be a fan, and that is it. So if you want to join the Discord and add that fan role, you'll be in the fan base chat, and we do competitions there. We actually do it's not Where's Charlie, it's Catch Charlie. Actually, Daniel, one of the voice actors that we have, he named that Catch Charlie. It's like a little spin-off of Where's Waldo. If you go back to episode 1, actually, yeah, you can go back to episode 1, 2, 3, or whatever, and look at the comment section. There's going to be a comment that's pinned. And there'll be people that are in that fanbase chat that has been saying, oh yeah, Charlie is at this time, location, or whatever. It's pretty much telling us in the fanbase chat that, hey, I found Charlie, where's my reward? And the reward is to either create a character that will appear in the Mythos Universe, create a lore piece within the Mythos Universe, or, I forgot the actual other thing. I think it's actually create an event that will be spoken about within the Mythos Universe. Let me see. Yes, create a character. Oh no, it's ask a question about any character or event, and then create a lore piece. So those are the three things with that they can do after finding Charlie. Charlie is a green and purple minor elite that usually holds a plasma pistol and needler. You can see him in every single Clans of Sanghelios episode. We literally, like, even filming, we're like, okay, we're gonna put Charlie. We're gonna put Charlie. I remember in one of the episodes in Act 3, and one of the episodes in Act 2, we were like, did we put Charlie in it? Oh my gosh, I don't think we did. So we literally watched the whole entire episode, realized Charlie wasn't in it, and then had to, like, put him in there, whether, like, an added clip or, like, a masking, which is the case for Act 2. I think it was actually episode 14 that he was masked in that big crowd, which is kind of a spoiler for those of us, or for those of you that actually has to find Charlie in episode 14. But he's masked within that crowd, so good luck finding him. But yeah, so like the whole entire masking bit had already happened. Barry went to that map, put Charlie in it, and then went to theater, and then added him into that masking scene, and like he's needed in every single episode. Just saying. But anyway, yeah, and then the last chat we added to the Mythos Hub was Legends. And Legends, I will talk about more about that later on in the stream, but Legends is a chat specifically for lore. And I will talk about more of that later on. So let's move on to Section 3. That was literally just Section 2, which was Clans Sanghelios. Let's talk about Act 1. Act 1 recap, the first 8 episodes, alright? So, Act 1, Clans of Sanghelios. So to recap or to summarize Act 1, first 8 episodes, the Covenant returns to Sanghelios, right? Obviously, it's during a season of peaceful times on Sanghelios. The clans are at peace. There's no war, no famine. Okay, maybe there's a little bit of famine, but like not really much is going on horribly. You know, like some seasons are about to change. Winter is coming and all that other crap. But now a bigger storm is approaching, and that's the Covenant, led by Fleet Master Larion. He sends his 3 generals, Ra, Zoltan, and Bravi, to pretty much recruit new Sangheli to become elites, to get resources, and to train the new recruits. Zoltan is training them. Ra is there to recruit, and Bravi is there to gather resources and stuff like that. So they're in that part of Sanghelios, and that part of Sanghelios is where the Mountain Clan is, the Sky Clan, the Tundra Clan, the Savannah Clan, the Forest Clan, and the Island Clan. Those are the 6 clans you have seen so far. Where have the Tundra Clan been shown? I will explain that. What is the Savannah Clan? I will also explain that. So pretty much, yeah, so they're doing their thing, the Covenant are doing their thing, but the Mountain Clan, which is the focus clan of Act 1, they are not having it. They're not having it. They're like, listen, the Covenant came here before. They proposed the idea of creating the Covenant officially. The elites joined that at first, at the beginning, like, you know, back in the past or whatever. But like, they took what they needed and they left. Why are they back? We're not gonna, you know, tolerate this anymore. So the Mountain Clan actually wanted to fight back. The Mountain Clan didn't exactly want to fight back. Some members did. Kind of like Zane. Zane was like, hey, let's fight back in episode 4. But obviously Anubis, being his father, is like, yeah, listen, the Covenant's not a force to be reckoned with. Why would he know that? It's because he was a part of the Covenant. And so that is also revealed within Act 1. So the story focuses on Anubis and his son Zane, and Anubis' role protecting the valley, the valley village and stuff like that, being a chief and not wanting to get his village to get destroyed by the Covenant or like succumb to like their will and stuff like that. Then you get the other side of the story, or not really the other side, but like a different side, which Orsis is the chief of the mountain. The mountain kind of like resides over all the other villages under it. So the valley village is one, the lake village is another, and some other villages and stuff like that. But Orsis being the chief of all, he kind of has more say than Anubis, but Anubis and him kind of has like the same equal say. That's kind of shown in episode 2. But yeah, so Orsis and his son, Ara, which is, you know, the son of Chief Orsis, which is kind of what I said, we also show like their dynamic and how different it is between Zayn and Anubis compared to Ara and his father Orsis, and like that father and son dynamic is actually a very key part to Cleanse Sanghelios. It's that relation on people who are older and are more wise and stuff like that, or believed to be more wise, but look how they turned out. You look at Act 1, not doing anything killed Anubis. You look at Act 2, doing too much made Orsis exhausted, and like now Ara doesn't even know what he, or no, it didn't really make Ara not know what he wants, but it kind of turned Ara away from him, and then now now he's gone. So like it's kind of like showcasing why this all happened. And that was kind of like the goal of Act 1, or at least a side goal for Act 1. But anyway, yeah, so Ra was actually the focus villain for Act 1. Him coming back to the Mountain Clan, because he used to be a part of the Mountain Clan back in the past, and like him returning, how that made him feel, having to recruit people from his old clan and stuff like that. Does he want revenge, or does he doesn't want to be, or like does he not want to be there? You don't know until you actually watch the show. And I think Velocity, which is the voice actor of Ra, he portrayed that really well. And it was really nice, honestly. It was really nice working on Act 1 being the start of the series. It wasn't too much action. We were definitely focused on character development, and that was the main goal of Act 1. It's literally just character development and world building. That was the goal for Act 1. So yeah, Act 1 was slow. Yeah, it didn't have that many long episodes or whatever, but that's because we were focused on character development, we were focused on world building, and we were focused on story development as well. Like that was only 8 episodes out of 26, We had 19 more episodes. Oh, wait, no. We had 18 more episodes left. So it's not that big of a deal. I want to say some of the struggles we actually had in Act 1 was the fact that we had to come back to something this big. I mean, like, yes, Act 1 wasn't big, but like it's a big project if you really think about it. And that was scary. That's really scary to believe, or not really to believe, but like to really think about. Only because I haven't really made a big project like this before, or not like this before, but like in a long time. And Barry hasn't done something this big before officially and stuff like that. So like me and him and we also never really worked together, so that was also different. Yeah, we're in Polychrome Media together, but like working on a machinima project together, that's something that we haven't done. And so that is something really interesting, and we had to like understand how we worked together as a team, and how he worked separately from me, and how I would have to work separately from him and stuff like that. It was fun, honestly, but it was difficult at the beginning. So I want to say the hardest part in Act 1, or the hardest part of production within Act 1, was just to get used to the rhythm and like the pacing and stuff, because like obviously no, not really obviously, you guys didn't know this, but we planned to do 3 months per act. So with Act 1, it was, I think Act 1 started releasing in June, July, August, September, October, November. Yes, Act 1 started releasing in June, so we started in February, March, April, and then May. The reason why I started in February was only because of the storyboard. Everything else, like scripting and all that stuff, was in... No, actually, no, we started scripting and stuff like that in February. And then we started the production in March. And this is where we actually screwed up in. Because we weren't actually working on a project back in February, when we got to August, which is when we were supposed to do the pre-production for Act 2, we were still doing Act 1 at the same time. I think we were doing like episodes 6 and 8. No, we were doing episode 8 for Act 1. And that is what made it difficult to actually work on Act 2 at the same time. We had a full month without any interruptions to do Act 1, but we didn't actually have that for Act 2. Which is kind of why we kind of like fell off track regarding Act 3 and stuff like that. So now we're doing a little bit things a little bit differently. We're not doing 3 months. We're doing 4 months now officially, because that's exactly what we did before with Act 1 and not really Act 2 or Act 3. So yeah. So I guess it was just to get into the groove of things and stuff. That's our most difficult problem with Act 1. So personally, I'm gonna be talking about the hardest script to do, the hardest script I had to do, the hardest episode I had to film, and the hardest episode I had to edit. The hardest script I felt like I had to do was episode 6. And I'm saying that because it was the first official fighting episode. And I haven't done like a war episode in so long. Like I didn't know exactly, should I describe what was going on? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if we were like just gonna improvise in the episode. It was difficult, but I managed to get it done. Episode 6 came out the way it did, but it was a good practice because Act 2 had the best fighting bits within Cleansing Meals thus far. And by thus far, I mean like the first 17 episodes. So episode 6 was definitely my hardest script to do. The hardest one to film was potentially episode 6 actually, because I'm pretty sure episode 6 also needed the most body actors, and like we still weren't big, like we definitely weren't big enough. We had to entrust the people that already knew us to body act, because like none of the episodes were released. Yeah, we had roommate stories out by that time, and yeah, we had a couple of shorts that Barry made, but like Polychromedia still wasn't known for machinima yet at the time. Um, and so having body actors for us was nearly impossible because we didn't actually had any of the episodes out for it. So that was my most difficult episode to film. The most difficult one to edit, though, which I'm pretty sure Barry would agree with me on this, was episode 4. Episode 4 was difficult because Barry's computer had a lot of issues at the time, and it randomly deleted the scenes in episode 4. Now, Barry also, between me and Barry's skills regarding making machinima is vastly different. And that's based off years. So, like, I've been in machinima for a lot longer than Barry has. So, like, I've practiced with my camera angles and editing and scripting a lot more than he has. And on his account, he has more forging skills and stuff like that. More than me, because I'm not that good at forging. I think like the only maps that I really forged and felt proud of was episode 3 and 4's scene, when Zane was given the Arbiter Sword. that's literally the most proudest map I have. But like Barry created the Valley Village. He created quite a bit of the maps and stuff like that. So he's really good at forging and stuff. But like it was still a big learning curve for Barry, and what was even more stressful for Barry is the fact that we were on a time limit as well. Like I'm used to working on the time limit because I made Infinite Guardian, and that was also an episodic thing, kind of like Sanghelios, but there was only, and it was also on like a weekly release date. So like I had a set release date for Infinite Guardian when I was working on it with Velocity. So obviously when we had a Cleansing Helios set release date, Barry had to work on that too, and he wasn't used to it like I was. So with that being said, obviously like his camera angles weren't as in depth. Not, I don't want to say in depth, but like his camera angles weren't. You can tell the difference between his camera angles and my camera angles back at the beginning of Cleansing Helios. Now in Act 3, I will say this: you cannot tell. Like Act 3, he like you can see the evolution. Like okay, is there an episode he did by himself in Act 3? I believe he has quite a few episodes he did a majority of in Act 3. If you go to Act 1 and then Act 3 and you watch the episodes there, you won't be able to know who made what in Act 3. But you can obviously in Act 1. But with that being said, he evolved in it, and I'm really happy that he did. It's honestly great. Like the stuff I want you I'm sorry. Act 3 is just great. But anyway, yeah, so regarding episode 4, like I was saying, his computer deleted some of the stuff he did for episode 4. And it kind of screwed us up because at the time, I didn't want him to add any music to the episodes, because if I could have changed something really easily within editing wise, because we were on like I said, we were on a schedule. If I needed to change something really easily, I could have just took the clip out and then rearranged it. But because he added music, I couldn't do that. So in episode 4, he had a song in it, but something was also wrong with episode 4. And I was like, no, we can't do anything. Hello, Barry. And I was like, no, we can't change it because, like, obviously there's music inside the scene. So I had to, it was really difficult. I had to go back in episode 4, re-body act some things, and then replace the clips. And I actually had to do that in episode 16 as well, because certain things were missing in episode 16. But, like, episode 4 was just the bane of our existence, and we don't know why. Like, his computer deleted stuff from episode 4, and that was really upsetting. But now he got his computer fixed. We had no issues technically so far, which is great. But yeah, episode 4 was the hardest to edit by far in Act 1. And I feel like it still is the hardest to edit by far in all 3 acts. But yeah, so episode 6 for scripting, episode 6 for body acting, and episode 4 for editing. With that being said, though, I do have some favorite stuff in Act 1. So, actually, Barry, if you still hear me, you want to say your the hardest episode for you to script in Act 1, and then also the hardest episode for you to body act in Act 1, and the hardest episode for you to edit. It's probably episode 4, just like me, but like the hardest episode for you to edit in Act 1 as well, if you want to put that in the comment section or in the chat. Anyway, my favorite Act 1 episode script had to be episode... Oh, no. Oh, it's a tie between 2 of them. No, it's not a tie. Is it? Is it? Okay, I'm gonna choose one. Oh, no. Oh, dang it! Okay, I can only choose one. Okay. 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 So so my favorite episode to script was episode 3. Episode 3 is my favorite episode to script because that was... No, that's a lie. It wasn't episode 3. My favorite episode to script was episode 7. Because I liked the talk between Orsis and Anubis in that scene. I love it. It was great. And the dynamic between 2 fathers talking and how differently they treat their children was fantastic. And Barry messaged me on Discord. Oh, okay, cool. So he said the bane of his editing existence was episode 4, like I figured. But yeah, so scripting wise, definitely episode I said 5, right? No, I said 7. Definitely 7. For body acting wise though, my favorite one had to be episode 6. Although it sucked at body acting, it's also my favorite body acting only because of the bloopers. Like one of the blooper things that I recorded was during the Banshee bombing. So they were doing Banshee bombs. I was one of the Banshees, by the way, bombing the back entrance to the mountain base, right? And I think Shotgunner was one of the Wraiths that was firing at the entrance as well. He shot his Wraith, and this happened twice, by the way. Once in Act 1, and like twice in Act 3. But he shot the rave shot, and I kid you not, my Banshee went right into the rave shot and got destroyed. Everyone in the lobby was dying. Like, it was hilarious when that happened. And I was sad. But I laughed it off, and we did it flawlessly, and it was great. But yeah, that was my favorite episode of the body act. And my favorite episode to edit was episode 18. And not 18, 8. And the reason why episode 8 was my favorite one to do, and it wasn't because it was, the ending of Act 1, but it was because of the music. It was so emotional. There was, I'm pretty sure there was 3 raves, Barry. Wasn't there 3 raves? I could have sworn Shotgunner was the one that shot me. Or was he in a Banshee? Or was it Twinkie that hit me? It was either Twinkie or Shotgunner that ended up hitting me with a rave. Because I know there was 3 raves within the film, though. So... I'm not sure exactly which rave it was, but a rave shot me. Anyway, yeah, so it was the music. The music was so emotional and so intense. And then when all the elites were like, for Anubis, for Anubis, for Anubis. It was such an emotional episode, and it really gripped me into the series. Even when editing it, like I already knew what was gonna happen when it aired, but like watching it when I was editing it, I always get so excited, and I tell the editing crew and the Mythos crew, like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting for me to show you guys. And like, oh, it was Twinkie? Freaking Twinkie. He hit me. But yeah, it was just so great. And I just love episode 8 editing wise. It was my favorite editing experience in Act 1. For Barry's favorite episode scripting was episode 1. And then he also said that he enjoyed episode 2's meeting room. And I think it's mostly because of Blarhonk. Like, Blarhonk is actually one of his favorite characters. So that's my favorite part of Act 1. But with that being said, being episode 8 being my favorite episode to edit, that was also the conclusion of Act 1. So what did it really mean to end Act 1? to me, it meant we could do this. Like, we can do this. If we can complete 8 episodes and then now releasing it, not only were we obligated to finish this story, because now we're releasing it now, and I had no plans on actually ending Polychromedia Media at any point, like at any time frame or whatever. Like, Polychromedia Media is here to stay now. Because we released these 8 episodes, we had to finish what we started. And I think that was a really huge motivation for both me and Barry, because this is Barry's baby. Like I said, this is his original series. And for him to see 8 episodes come out like this, and a lot of people just enjoy it and feel like emotional connections with these characters, really helped him make Act 2 and Act 3. And it also helped me make Act 2 and Act 3 because of how much time and effort I also put into to cleanse Sanghelios. And so, like, I believe what it meant to conclude Act 1 was, or what it meant to conclude Act 1 for me and Barry was that we had a reason to do this, and that's you guys. Like, we had a reason to continue, we had a reason to finish, and there was no stopping us. Like, it showed to us that we can do this for you guys and for us as well. So that's what it meant to end Act 1, right? But let's go on to Act 2. Alright, so moving on to Act 2. Act 2, which I believe took 3 months, I think it took, it's 2 to 3 months after Act 1's events when Anubis died and stuff like that. Obviously, with Anubis not being around, Zane now took the attitude of wanting to fight back. He lost his father, Ra killed him, and stuff like that, and he's like, you know what, no, we're going to fight back the Covenant. Obviously, Atan, being Anubis' brother, backed Zane up. Obviously, the other chiefs of the whole entire Mountain Clan, being that the fact that the Mountain Clan got attacked in episode 6, and the Valley Village got attacked in episode 8, and the Lake Village got attacked in episode 3/4. Obviously, they're like, you know what, we're not gonna stand here and let them do this again. So we're gonna fight back. And obviously, within that time frame, they managed to get the Island Clan on board. So then you meet a completely different clan in episode 9, which is the Orange and Yellowish people. You meet a whole new set of characters. You meet Tyke, which is a general elite, or not really a general, but like general armor elite. But he sports the same colors as Atan. So 2 silver people now. What are silver people? They are the Legionnaires in the series. Then you get the Orange people from the Island Clan. You meet Shinji in the episode. Then you meet Callius, which, I mean, you've seen in Giro in episode 7 of Act 1. And you've seen Brutus, obviously, in episode 3 of Act 1. But obviously there's 3 generals, so who was Bravi's underling? Yeah, you can kind of hint that Angira was probably Bravi's underling, but you would be wrong. Obviously Angira was Zoltan's underling, so who was Bravi's? And that's Callius. And so you also get introduced to Callius. But this is also where you get introduced to a 4th character, Neef. So you get introduced to 4 characters in 1 episode, and it's so great to introduce some new characters. It was so fun having more cast members to being a part of our universe and stuff like that. So they were liberating a labor camp that Bravi holds. Obviously this kind of shows the fact that he's still resource gathering and stuff like that, and that they're after the generals that Larion holds. But because we were doing this, and because we're continuing that rebellion type story, our next goal was to show more of the Covenant side, because obviously we showed more of the clan side within Act 1. So more of the Covenant side was, since Ra, the main villain of Act 1, was gone, who would take his spotlight? Yeah, Larion could have done it, but like Larion is the mastermind behind all the Covenant stuff that's happening right now. But even he had to have some issues. He had to like go through some ups and downs. So that's why in episode 11 we introduced Fleet Master Gutro, which was another Fleet Master on the other side of Sanghelios. And we mentioned the prophets and like the talks of heresy and how like Larion can't handle controlling a small rebellion and stuff like that. Apparently he's kind of sucks at this. And so Larion was like, you know what? My Lance Generals aren't doing what they're supposed to. Gutra, what can I do? Whatever. So Gutra then like kind of hints, recruit a really strong, able Sangheli that you can probably trust. Like you had that faith in your Lance Generals before or whatever. Like you pretty much create another Lance General to replace Ra in a sense. And that's where Typhus comes in. So Typhus is another new character in episode 13. You can see him on this thumbnail right now. He's on the left side, that blue elite right there. Typhus was then became the other focus character. Yeah, we had Zane within Act 1. Yeah, we had Aura within Act 1, which Aura also got a lot of more story development within Act 2 as well. And then we get Typhus. Typhus had a episode fully by himself, episode 13. And honestly, I kid you not, he became a fan favorite really fast because he was the focus character on the villain side. We had focus characters on the hero side or on the good side, but we needed that focus character to tell a story on the evil side, the Covenant side. And who's all to say? Like, maybe the Covenant's not really that evil. Maybe they're just trying to get a job done, you know? Who knows? But anyway, Typhus being who he was and his history, it makes him a very mysterious character, and that's what I love about him. And we're going to explore more about his character within Act 3. But yeah, so it was all about kind of capturing Bravi, kind of dwindling down Larion's forces and stuff like that. And Larion's focus, or on the Covenant side, they had to do something about the rebellion. Eventually, you get introduced to the Sky Clan, which was in episode 13, but they're also featured in episode 9. And then you get introduced to the Forest Clan in episodes 15, the ending of episode 15, and then officially in episode 16. And then you kind of like, you gotta like figure out some things regarding the Forest Clan and how Geneva is from the Forest Clan and stuff like that. So like the Forest Clan has always been around since Act 1. But anyway, it was all about uniting the clans in Act 2, and that was the main focus, was uniting the clans. But I want to say Act 2's goal was the Covenant, like the Covenant, to like dwindle down the rebellion, to cut it loose, to destroy it. That was the focus for Act 2, and to really build Typhus' story up, to really build him as a character, but to also have a direction for Zane, and then to add more character development for Aura. And those are the 3 focus characters, as you can see in Act 2 in this thumbnail here. So I think we did really good with that, especially with all the other characters like Ratam and Sessa being 2 brothers around the same age as Aura and Zane, and then Aura and Zane working alongside them in episode 12 and stuff like that. Like, that was a really good thing. In episode 17 as well, that was a really good thing right there. Just showing the fact that those 4 characters, although from 2 different clans, it's kind of like that, still that union that the island and the mountain clans still have together. But anyway, I want to talk about the struggles for Act 2. The hardest episode to script for me in Act 2 was... What was a hard episode to script? I don't really think I had much trouble in Act 2. I really don't think I did. Okay, so if I'm basing it off of like emotion and not like difficulty writing, episode 17. 17 was the hardest one to script, only because it was so emotional and I wanted to cry. For filming wise, for body acting, episode 16 or 17, because it's definitely gonna be one of those 2 episodes. And only because we have to read. No, it was 16. It was. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no. Yes, no, I remember. It was. I'm sorry. It was 16. 16 was actually the hardest episode to script. Not script. I'm sorry, to body act, because we were missing quite a bit of 16. Even after Barry lost part of 16, we still had to redo certain things that made it even more difficult to do. And it was just a nightmare working on episode 16 at a certain time period. And like, even though we had to redo some stuff for 17, 16 just had the most complications. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, 16 was a nightmare, but it came out pretty good. And then the hardest episode to edit for me personally, because I don't think I really edited anything in episode 16 or 17 after having to rebody act anything. The hardest episode to edit within Act 2 was episode... No, that was kind of organized. 13. I want to say 13 was the hardest edit, only because I had the editing team with me in that one, and there was some audio issues in episode 17, and I just had difficulty trying to maneuver around that, and having to, like, balance certain audio that someone else did compared to what I did and stuff. It was just sometimes a nightmare to work on. But anyway, I'm just going to take a sip of my G Fuel, because I need energy. Oh man, that's some good stuff. So far, all the flavors for G Fuel is really good. Anyway, But obviously, what comes with struggles also comes with favorites. Now, since this is all released, my favorite script to work on was probably 17. Although emotional, it was still amazing to work on and stuff like that. My favorite body acting episode was episode 9, actually. And the reason why it was episode 9 was because we actually had kind of like some fun doing episode 9. There's a bridge, right? There's a bridge on episode 9 that links the labor camp to the main island land. And part of that bridge, if you drive a Wraith across from it, there's a weird little glitch spot that launches the Wraith out of nowhere. And that actually happened to us a couple of times while body acting. It was just hilarious. And then my favorite one to edit in Act 2 was episode 12. And I kid you not, I edited that scene where Tyke, Ara, and Orsis comes from the like the coastline / big tunnel area, and they go around to the side where the satellite is. That scene with that sunlight shining on them and stuff like that, I showed that to my mom, and she was like really impressed by that. Like, I was so impressed by that scene, and I was so impressed by the music and everything within episode 12. I love it so much. Like, episode 12 is one of my favorite episodes, by like making wise, and even watching. Actually, I love watching episode 12. But yeah, that's my favorite. So for Barry, He didn't like 16 and 17 because of the errors, and he loves 17 for Act 2. Yeah, but again, speaking of 17, that concluded Act 2. Episode 17 concluded Act 2. 9 episodes within Act 2, unlike Act 1. And just having another set of episodes completed and released, and the fact that we released it before 2020 ended was also amazing. But like having another set of episodes released by the ending of 2020 really gave me and Barry hope, because Act 2 was the hardest act to produce. Like Act 3, I know it took us the longest, like 5 months, but it still was not as nearly as hard as Act 2. Like Act 2 was unbearable, like strictly unbearable. But we did it, and it's out. You guys can still watch it. You guys can watch it fully. Well, not really fully, but like episode to episode to episode to episode. And yeah, honestly, like for us to end Act 2 kind of was an eye-opener. Like, obviously we didn't really have doubts with Act 2 making it, but we had struggles, and we were like, are we really pacing ourselves properly? Should we change some stuff up? Should we cut some series out and stuff like that? Like, we were even wondering about that. Yeah, we were going to complete Cleansing Helios, but we were wondering if we should shorten some of the other series and stuff like that, because 26 episodes was beginning to get hard. And we weren't even doing 26 episodes at the time. We're only doing 9. 8 episodes were already out, so why should we even have to worry about 8 episodes, you know? And the other 9 episodes weren't even out by then. So, like, it was only the 9 within Act 2, and we were struggling with that. But because of our dedicated body acting team, because of the voice actors that gave their lines in on time and even updated us afterwards, after the deadline, because our forgers were working so hard on all these maps and stuff like that, we didn't succumb to that, I guess, false defeat that we felt. And we made those 9 episodes. We released it on time, even though we had major listen. Act 9 was close to getting Episode 9 was getting close to postponed because I accidentally deleted certain films that I actually utilized in the editing for Episode 9, and I needed to render Episode 9. Or I needed to re-render Episode 9 for something, and I didn't have those films anymore. So I actually spent money. I think I spent like either 80 or $100 or whatever to get a program to actually get film, or to actually get files after deleting them from your trash. Because even after you delete stuff from your trash, they're still like somewhere on your computer. And I literally downloaded that program just to get that. Like, I was dedicated to bring you guys the best experience, and a non-delayed experience on top of that for Cleansing Helios at the time anyway. Now, obviously, Act 3 got delayed, so can't really do much about that. But anyway, I spent money on it, and that's the main thing that you guys have to take out of this. But yeah, the fact that we literally went through so much crap with Act 2 just shows again that we can do this, and we can conclude the series properly, and we are going to do that properly. And no, none of the other 11 series are canceled. All the other 11 series are still planned within the certain amount of acts that they're supposed to have. Like Series 2 only has 2 acts. It was always planned for 2 acts, so that never changed. The delays for Act 3 did not affect that at all, besides the fact that it's going to be releasing on different due dates now. But, like, literally, we have not dwindled at all, um, officially. Like, obviously, we had that false, you know, experience or whatever, but, like, we're still holding on strong. But I guess the true test will really be when Halo Infinite comes out. Um, Obviously, with Halo Infinite coming this year, I feel like we'll have a bigger struggle than when we did before. Only because it's a new Halo game, people want to enjoy that game, and we want to enjoy that game too. So questioning if it'll end up like Halo 4 and 5, as in like we'll play it for like maybe a month or two and then go back to Halo Reach, that's a big if. We don't know. We don't know if that's going to happen. Obviously, it's been confirmed that elites won't be in Halo Infinite, and elites are a big part of the Mythos universe. Considering the fact that our series started with elites, we're not just going to cut them out just because we're going to be using humans. So like that's a really big fear of ours, but hopefully our body acting team and even future body actors like you guys would like to help us out with that. We won't constantly take your Halo Infinite time, obviously, because we want Halo Infinite time as well. So we will try to do something to accommodate everyone. But yeah, Act 2, baby. Act 2 ended in December, and Act 3 is on its way. But something about Act 2 really spoke out to me. But on top of that, I think it spoke out to another person, actually. And although although this person wasn't fully aware of the production of Clans of Sanghelios, me and Barry both understood where he was coming from, and we are grateful to even work with this person. We actually have, or at least I actually have a video. Hold on, I'm just gonna read this really fast. Uh, oh yeah. We actually lost some films. We actually lost some scenes that we did for episode 17. That's what Barry was telling me. That was within the pre-redo, but because we had to release episode 17 at a certain point, we couldn't just redo that redo on time anyway. So anyway, I actually have a message that from this voice actor that was directed towards me and Barry. What's up, Daniel? Or that's ODST. What's up, ODST? I was just telling the people, not really just telling them, but like maybe 40 minutes ago, I was telling them how much of a goat you are, for what you did in Act 3, specifically for episode 19 and episode 21. But yeah, welcome to the stream, my guy. Anyway, yeah. So this person gave me a message. Not really gave me a message, but made a video for me and Barry officially. And although this was for something else that he'll have to do differently now, I will also explain what he has to do differently, because that's a part of this whole entire stream. It's like post cost or whatever, post cleansing. He goes like what comes after. He said I can show this to you guys for the stream, so I'm really happy to show this. Enjoy el video. I'm gonna mute my mic now.
Hey everyone, this is Edward James, the voice of Orsis in Clans of Sanghelios by D-Gamer. Yeah, so I've been in Mishima for at least 17 years. All the way back in 2005, I worked with people like Military Movies, TSCF, uh, Jamie 98's Happy Hour Films, Blood Signature Films, and all of those were great memories. And then I hit really big when I did Rise of Spartans with Arbiter 617. And with all these roles, it was just me trying to act right, and I never got a deeper voiced role where I had to be the bad guy, because listening to me, no one ever thought I could play the bad guy. And I'm a man of many different hats. I can pull off lots of things. I mean, this is Sergeant Johnson's hat from a Halo loot crate I got. Oh, damn right I am. Now move it out. Now everyone gets surprised when they hear that from me, because they don't see me as the gruff or or authoritarian figure when it comes to voicing. But I can do it. Just that no one ever gave me the chance to do so until D Gamer came around. When he offered me the voice of Orsus, I was floored because first of all, he was a dad, and I have not had many experiences of being a dad in big productions. So it had an added complexity of me having to show love for those around me, but the way it was written when it came to Orsus, I could not be like a loving father. I had to be the tough one, the one who has lost his original love for his own kid. And that's hard. That's hard for someone like me who's been always going to happy-go-lucky characters. It's not easy for me to go in the darker direction when it comes to how I see people, how I interact with them, and nobody ever really gives me authoritarian roles because I just don't sound like it. But yeah, I said to him, "Hey, listen, I know you're gonna use a filter to change people's voices to sound more like elites, but for me, can you just let me try do it naturally?" Now, thankfully, D Gamer allowed me to do that while giving the slightest bit of filtering. But my first thought when I was playing Orsus is, okay, no matter what happens in the story, either he's going to lose his son or his son is going to lose him, because that's the only way for the story to progress. Because you know, good things don't last, or bad things catch up with you. That's like the nature of storytelling. And of course, the gamer went in the direction he did, and I had to think about how horses would feel at the end versus the beginning. And when you have to separate yourself from those two outcomes, what I realized is, as Orsis, I had to cause a lot of hate towards my character because he was a father who had lost his original uh, devotion to his son because he just had impossible standards. And to make that come across, I had to really like dig down deep to get that, because like you're sitting there with the script and it's like, "You have failed me, son," blah blah blah. I had to be like, "You have failed me, son. You are not my son," and that's not easy to do. And throughout the series, I always thought to myself, was I playing a bit too harsh? Was I not being mean enough? That's always a concern when you're voice acting an important character. And with how much pressure Orsus had on his shoulders, I would take, like, any day I wasn't feeling good, and I would use that day to record. Because when you're filled with so much pressure and rough feelings, you have to vent it. And whenever you hear Orsus talking, you're hearing me when I'm in like a terrible mood or a really depressed mood, because that's unfortunately how some leaders are, and in the case of Orsus, that was no different. Yeah, so I gotta say, voicing Orsus was like a coping mechanism to me, and also being able to try to be a caring father is a thing I've never experienced. So it was like a therapeutic session for me to learn what it means to be a father while playing Orsus. It was super. Oh goodness, it was so satisfying as I made my last curtain call in the series, and I cannot imagine that I would do it any different than I did. And that's the best thing about voice acting, is when you feel you've done everything you can, you never look back and say, "Oh, I could have done this a little different." No, Orsus as a character was the springboard for all my worries and doubts in my actual life. And I'm not even a dad yet, but I could just feel that, and I can't imagine how much Orsis felt in his last few moments on screen. But I tried my best to give it. Uh, it's an experience that I wish hadn't ended, but all good things must come to an end, and yeah, I can say that was a very fun time, and I really thank D Gamer for that a lot.
Whoa, dang. So yeah, that was Mr. Ed there. He voice acts Orsis. If you guys did not know, obviously you guys wouldn't know unless you guys are in the Discord. Um, I'm sorry. Like, okay, so I was also I love that video so much because that video was actually meant for something else, but he did it prematurely. However, I'm still so grateful for the video. And I was actually watching it because I have the stream up here on my third monitor. I have three monitors up, but I have the video, the stream up on my monitor, and on my other one. And I was listening to the audio. It, like, part of me just really wanted me to just watch what he was saying and not really continue the stream because I think my stream, it has like maybe a 8 to 10 second delay. So like I would have just you would have been hearing silence, and I would just be watching Ed talk. But anyway. Ed, we love you so much. You were absolutely amazing, and I really this kind of proves like this proves that what I said earlier about Act One and how we really wanted to show the dynamic between Orsis and Ara and Anubis and Zane and stuff like that. We really wanted to make those, like specifically Anubis and Orsis, iconic characters. We proved that because in Act One, Episode 8, when Anubis died, a lot of people were like, "What? Anubis died? No, I thought he was the main character. Oh man, Anubis is great. Yada 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 yada." And then in episode 17, despite all of those deaths in Act 2, Orsis was the most iconic death that people spoke about. Next to him was Blarhonk, and next to that was Geneva. But like, a lot of people were so upset that Orsis died, and the fact that people were upset that Anubis died, and the fact that people were upset with that Orsis died, is that proves that we did our job in Act 1. We made these two fathers iconic characters within Clan Sanghelios. Obviously, you know, Anubis being... Because if you watch the Act 3 trailer, you can tell that Anubis is going to be in Act 3. But obviously, Anubis dying in Act 1, but still having a role within Act 2, because he was in that nightmare in Episode 11, and now he comes back in Act 3 for a hologram bit and from that trailer. Then you have Orsis, which is in Act 1 and in Act 2 fully. You know, it kind of shows that they're important. Like, you know, when you think of elites, right? When you think of elites, you think of Brotherhood. And not the Machinima series that Sam Small created, but I mean, like, literally brothers. You know? You think of that mentality, but you never consider fatherhood. And back, I think, originally with elite lore, like, the fathers would technically be someone random. But within our elite lore, it's by birth. So like, yeah, they know who their mothers are. Yeah, they know who their fathers are and stuff like that. Like they're not chosen to be trained by someone random, like in actual Halo lore. So this is literally fatherhood right now. Yes, ODST for Anubis and for Orsis. Like that's like fatherhood is great, you know. And I'm a huge fan of my father. He pretty much helped. He's 50% on what I am today. Like obviously my mom also took care of me as well, and she's the other 50%. But like one thing that I love love about my dad, which I don't even know if he wants me to say this or not, but I guess it doesn't really matter. His dad wasn't really in his life, and so the fact that he's in my life shows that no matter how like what tragic experience you might have went through in your past and stuff like that, you don't have to really have that affect your kids. And so like my dad's a really huge mentor for me. Like he was into anime. He showed me Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that when I was a kid. My middle name is actually from an anime, which is freaking crazy. Like my dad is like one of my heroes and stuff like that. So like fatherhood being in Clan Sanghelios, freaking as one of the main themes, really just made everything. What's that fun fact? Fun fact: Orsis was heavily set up set around some stuff with my dad here and there. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was actually able to mention that. So yes, Barry. Yeah, so I think I mentioned this to Barry before back in Act One, but like the Aura and Orsa's dynamic also reminded me of Barry and his father because like me and Barry are really close. We're really like really best friends and stuff like that. Actually, we actually met each other in real life. I stayed at his house for 6 days back in 2019. But anyway, um, yeah, I mean that it wasn't really the Dragon Ball now. It was like the Dragon Ball back then, Barry. But anyway, yeah. So like obviously the whole entire Orsis and Aura dynamic was more like Barry and his father, and the Zane and Anubis dynamic is more like me and my father and stuff like that. But it's really cool. Um, and anyway, yeah. So fatherhood is really important. Brotherhood obviously is really important, and sisterhood. Sisterhood is also important. We can't forget about them sisters, all right? But yeah, so it was honestly really great working with Grumpy Elite for Anubis and Edward for Orsis, and I'm really glad he made that video. But moving along from Act 2 is not Act 3. Gotcha. No, Section 5, which we are going to talk about now, which actually kind of rolls into post Clans of Sanghelios, is the Clans of Sanghelios Legends. Boop. Hello, guys. Sorry about that. I actually forgot to add my snowball in this transition. So what I was saying was, I was actually reading what ODST wrote, further above. But anyway, yes, ODST, thank you for making the Forge maps, and it's been such a great time working with you with body acting and stuff like that. Um, and speaking of memories, oop. Speaking of memories, why are memories really important? Right, yeah, we actually gave people their first voice acting opportunity within Clans of Helios, which is really cool. Like Commando 414, he's been body acting for us for a very long time, even before Polychrome Media was a thing. And his first voice acting opportunity was episode 17, when he told Anubis that Bravi returned and stuff. So yeah, that was his first voice acting opportunity. What's up, Dark Slayer? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys can hear me. I actually forgot to add my snowball into this section of OBS, so now you guys should be able to hear me. Anyway, I was also explaining what this whole entire page was. This page is for posters, and I'm going to be talking about these characters and stuff like that. That was in Act 1 and Act 2, and I'll also be revealing our very first Act 3 character as well towards the ending of this little slideshow. But anyway, this kind of pertains to what's going to be happening at the ending, or like I guess post Clans of Sanghelios. And me and Barry made. You mean Larian? You meant Larian, not Anubis? Did I say Anubis? I probably said Anubis. I don't know. I was looking at the Anubis name. But anyway, this kind of pertains to, again, post Clans of Sanghelios. And me and Barry were giving Meta these posters. Like, we screenshotted the stuff and posed for it inside Halo Reach on the maps that were made. And we sent it to him. He made it all glitterified and lensified. And then put the voice actor next to the character name. And that's what these are. But what I'm going to be doing with it is going over the character who voice acted them and their role for the story. Yes, we do have an Xbox One. I have an Xbox Series X though, so I don't really go on my Xbox One. Anyway, so actually, I'm pretty sure this is also the first time you guys are introduced to the voice actors of these characters, because we don't actually have credits yet, and that will be in episode 26. So Anubis is voice acted by Grumpy Elite, which is what I mentioned earlier. Anubis's role is to play a father figure for Zane. He is the arbiter at the time for Act 1. He used to be a part of the Covenant. He's the chief of the Valley Village. He's married to Geneva. He's from the Mountain Clan. He's brother to Atan. And his main role, though, was just to be not really a mentor, but like a guidance for Zane. That was his main role. Not to be the main character, but a guidance for Zane. Alright? That was his role. Moving on, Geneva. Geneva is voiced by Liz Dance. Now, fun fact, Liz Dance originally voiced Geneva in the original Clans of Sanghelios. And so she returned as Geneva in this version, and she did a phenomenal job. Honestly, like her death scene in Act 2 was actually really sad for me, only because of the way I made it. I'm the one who scripted it and edited it, and like her seeing the love of her life in that afterlife scene was just so sad. I just love it so much. But the big reveal actually in episode 15, though, which I don't think many people caught, was that not only is she from the Forest Clan, but her father is Del Vadam, which is the Arbiter officially in the actual Halo universe. So I don't think many people caught that, but that is the actual Arbiter from the Halo universe. So yes, her father is that Del, but obviously the Del in our universe isn't the Arbiter. So, and never was, by the way. So yeah, it was just more. It was like a little cameo, not really cameo, but like an Easter egg type of thing. But yeah, Geneva's role was to play that motherly figure. Like obviously Anubis died in episode 8, so like Geneva had to play the other parent and had to be that single mother type to really care for her son, but she also had to let her son loose and do his own thing. But on top of that, it was her only child, so she was like, listen, I don't want you to die, you know, like I really care for you, and if you're not gonna listen to me, you can listen to your uncle. So like she wanted she wanted nothing more than to have her son live a different life than his father. No, only a very few caught. Yeah, only a very few caught that Arbiter thing, that Del thing. But yeah, she wanted Zane to live a life that was meant for him, and not this war stuff that Anubis was into before, you know, when they were growing up together and stuff like that. Like, no, she wants the best life for her son, and that was her goal. And even in Act 1, when she suggested in episode 5 to send him to the monastery, send him and Ara to the monastery and stuff like that, which they're in now actually. Like she just wanted the best life, a safe life for her son, like any parent should, you know. Like even Anubis, like although he didn't want him, even though he didn't want Zane to go to the monastery, because they knew how they would treat Zane due to the fact that he is the Arbiter's son, Zane is the Arbiter's son and stuff like that. He didn't want war to happen between the clans and the Covenant. He tried to be diplomatic about it. He tried to avoid it at all costs. It did not work. So they were both wanted the best for their son. They just wanted to handle it two different ways, you know? And now Geneva's way was the only possible way, but too bad Zane had to take it when she died. But yeah, so that was her role, was to protect her son. And Liz did a phenomenal job with Geneva. Then we have Mr. Inspector Banwee, the creator of Clans of Sanghelios, playing Zane. Zane is the main character for Clans of Sanghelios. Yeah, so his role is to actually show the dynamic of the son of someone so prominent and so very much into the fight between the Covenant and the clans. His father being from one of the main clans that are fighting against it, but also being a lance from the Covenant at the same time, he felt like he had to fill in some big shoes, you know? Like, his father never forced him to do that, but now because his father's gone, he really feels like he has to support his clan, you know, the Valley Village. He has to support his mom and all that other stuff. And although he has his uncle by his side, and his mom supporting him and stuff like that, and his best friend as well fighting alongside him, it still isn't mentally enough. He feels like he always has to do better and has to make sure that his father in the afterlife is proud of him, you know? That's why in episode 12 he gets so upset that he let Bravi go. And like he's carrying so much weight on his shoulders. And I feel like a lot of people do that. Like Zane is a very relatable character in that sense in Act 2. You know, you want to fill in some shoes of someone that really meant a lot to you that's probably no longer in your life, but you just don't know how, and you were never taught how to do that, you know? And so that's Zane's role, and is obviously voiced by Inspector Barry, woo, one of the creators. Then there's the big bad. The legit Twinkie voices Larion. Larion's the fleet master of the Covenant that is taking over this current side, the focus side of clans of Sanghelios. Now, regarding Larion, Twinkie is also the original voice actor of, and if you couldn't tell, Barry is obviously the original voice actor of Zane from the original series. But Twinkie is also the original voice actor of Larion in the original series. If you go watch the teaser trailer, which I could pull up here. Let me just go here. Yes, I actually have it prepared here. Like I said, I have a lot of stuff over here. Right here. So I actually have it muted here. But let me just show you this. Right here. Actually, no, it's actually all the way, yeah, right here. So right here, you can tell this is the original Larion, alright? That is the original Larion. Silver and gold. And those are the original heavies as well. So turret, silver, and gold, and all that stuff. Obviously, if I could play and the transition, that is the new Larion. So we did change Larion's colors, but it's the same voice actor and stuff like that. Welcome back, Barry. So that is the same voice actor, the same field marshal armor, just the colors are different. And the reason why we switched it as well is mostly because the Legionnaires are silver, so it would have been confusing. But yeah, that is the Larion that we have currently. So anyway, Larion's role is to play the big bad. He's not the focus bad, but he is the big bad. He is the puppet master of the Covenant at the moment. Like, he has all these other side villains inside the series. So we have Angiro, we have Brutus, his three generals, which are Zoltan, Ra, and Bravi. There would have been Callius if Callius wasn't revealed as a traitor in episode 9. But there's that. Then we eventually have Typhus that got recruited and stuff like that. So obviously we have a lot of people that are villainous. But Larion is that marionette. He is that puppet master that controls all of this. He is the player of a chessboard. And he has all of his peeps here, you know, moving the chess piece and stuff like that. That is what Larion is. And that is his role, actually. His role is to control each of the forces and to recruit, to gather resources. You do this, you do that. He is the overseer. And Twinkie does an excellent job. And I think a really good episode to reference regarding an excellent job are 4 episodes. So episode 1, obviously, just to show the fact that he is a force to be reckoned with, and that music and stuff like that. Then there is episode 5 when he threatens Ra regarding not to like kill a village like that again. Then he does the same thing to Zoltan in episode 11 when he's like, "Get me Zoltan," or whatever. Like he shows his dominance. But the best episode for him to show his dominance was episode 17 when he played the ultimate puppet master. Like, I have your life in the palm of my hands. I can tell him to stop and you will survive. When he was talking to Bravi, and like Zoltan and Angiro was up there right next to him looking down at Bravi while Typhus and Bravi fought. That is to really show Larion's power and how much he really actually I guess affects this whole entire war and the lives of the Covenant. And that honestly is his role. He is the puppet master. So so moving on from Larion, we got Ra, General Ra, the angry of the 3 elites. One thing I love about the Lance Generals is that they're all so different. Minus the fact that their voice actors are different and their voices are different. Ra is just such an angry character, you know? He has that gruff in his voice. And Velocity did pretty good with that, playing General Ra. And the fact that General Ra is actually from the Mountain Clan, it made him the perfect elite to actually portray as Act 1, because it was only about the Mountain Clan. We didn't introduce the other clans until Act 2. I forgot to mention, by the way, the Tundra clan, which the Tundra is that whitish clan or whatever. It's white and blue, or white and cobalt, or white and ice or whatever. They were actually in episode 5 of Clans of Sanghelios. Hold on. So we're back here. Let me go to episode 5. That's the nighttime stuff. Right here. Let me zoom in. These elites right here, they are the Tundra clan. You can't see it from here. I believe that's actually Angiro, because you can actually see. Let me go back here. Let me play. So that's Raw. You can see that's Zoltan actually. Like that was like no one actually knew this, but that's actually Zoltan. Yeah, white and cobalt. Yeah, they're white and cobalt and white and ice for the Tundra, but that's actually Zoltan right there. That's Angiro walking, and that's the Tundra clan. No one knew that because they can't really see it from here. But we would know that. The body actors would know that. So yeah. So that's the Tundra clan. I forgot to mention that. But anyway, yeah, the Mountain clan was pretty much the focus, minus that one cameo of the Tundra clan in episode 5. So his role was just to have a foot into this whole entire story on the Covenant versus the clans. Raw's actions when he killed Anubis in episode 8, that was the trigger for Act 2 and the rest of the story. If he didn't kill Anubis, Clan Sanghelios would have been done, or it probably would have taken a different turn. But because he did, obviously whatever happened, and it was all because of Raw. And that was his role in the story. It was to trigger the rest of the stuff. Foreshadow in the background. Exactly, yeah, exactly, Barry. Yeah, foreshadow. Look, oh my gosh. We have so much foreshadow in like the other 17 episodes that we even have more foreshadow in the next 9. So like it's crazy how subtle our foreshadow is, but like no one will actually know. And like we have a lot of Easter eggs too. Like some people call it the Star Wars Easter eggs that we had in some of the episodes. Obviously we had that Thel Vadam Easter egg in episode 15 and stuff. Like we have a lot of Easter eggs and stuff. But yeah, that's Raw's role. Then we have Mr. Bravi, Shiny Monkey West, voice acts Bravi, the other Lance General. Actually, the most hated Lance General. The reason why he's mostly hated is because people believe he's a coward. Yes, he is a coward. But my excuse for that is that even fleeing is a tactical decision. Fleeing is still tactical because you're surviving for another day. If you can manage to survive and then make a comeback, obviously that would be considered a clutch moment. Like when you're playing a competitive game mode, or like let's say you're playing Trials of Osiris on Destiny 2 and your whole entire team gets wiped, you're by yourself. Obviously you can't run away forever, you have to fight, you know. Bravi didn't run away forever. He returned to penance, he was returning to the Covenant, he was planning to fight back, he was planning to continue fighting. So that's what he was doing. He wanted to survive. It's survivability. Survival is still a strategy to, like, that is still a tactical strategy in war, you know. And that was his logic in this. And you have to think, he's not a Lance General for nothing, you know? He did die in episode 17, but he's not a Lance General for nothing. Like, Larion knew what he was doing, which is why he didn't task Bravi to recruit. He tasked Bravi to get resources, and that's it. But yeah, Shinamaki West did a phenomenal job. Bravi's role was literally just to show the clan side in Act 2. Because like I said, in Act 2, it was really a more Covenant-focused act, minus the unity portion of it, trying to unite the clans. But we needed 2 separate stories within Act 2, and Bravi was a good focus villain for Act 2 on the clan side, while Typhus was a good focus character for the Covenant side. So that was the 2 different stories we were telling in Act 2, and I think we did a really good job at it too. But yeah, so that was his role, just to be like that focus villain in Act 2. And then I still like how we tied it in to the Covenant side in episode 17 when Bravi had to fight Typhus and stuff. Then moving on to Zoltan. Zoltan is voiced by Megalodon 302. Zoltan being actually the most favorite Lance General. And I think he's like mostly everyone's favorite because of episode 17, how honorable he treated Orsis at his deathbed. He's a very honorable Sangheli through and through. He's the definition of honor when it comes to the Covenant side. Like, no other Sangheli is as honorable as he is on the Covenant side at all. Like, Typhus isn't, Larion obviously isn't, freaking Bravi definitely is not, Ra isn't, Brutus isn't, like none of the other, maybe Angiro, but obviously Angiro might be only because he's Zoltan's underling, and that's I guess the focus of Zoltan. Zoltan is that honorable Sangheli. He still is loyal to the Covenant, but he has that Sangheli honor. And we had to have a lovable Covenant character. We can't just say all Covenant characters are evil, because the Covenant is not evil through and through. Like, they believe in their own things, and like that can be said about any like villain in any show. Like they're probably not villains to like their eyes, and they're probably not villains to other people, or for some reason, like the antagonist is probably not villains to other people, but like we actually had to specifically show that not all antagonists are evil. And Zoltan is a perfect example of that. He does his job as best as he can, and that is his role. Moving on to Quator. So that was all. That was actually all episode 1 characters. We're entering episode 2 characters now. Quator is voiced by British Jelly. British Jelly actually originally voiced Quator back in the original series as well. Quator is his role, or some people like to call him as Quarter. Quator's role is to be the master of the clan. So we showcased 3 of the masters. We showcased Master Quator back in Act 1. We showed Master Tarfin in Act 2, Episode 16. And we showed Master Kaida in Episode 16 as well for the Forest Clan. Obviously, we have the Sky Clan, and we didn't actually show the other master. But I think that master is actually in the trailer for Act 3. So there is a master in Act 3's trailer. That is the Sky Clan's master. So we do have all 4 masters in the series. Anyway, being a master of a clan is different from being a chief. It's kind of like being, it's kind of like the UK in a way. Like you have the prime minister and then you have the king or queen or whatever. So you have that royalty. Quator is that royalty, while the chiefs do the diplomatic things. They're the government. So Quator, he's dealt with so much crap that he is literally the best Sangheli warrior in that whole entire clan. That is what it means to be a master. Quator can fight Anubis, Blarhonk, Tenzin, Chakal, Orsis, and Ragarth all at the same time and still win. That is how beastly Quator is. What did he say? I just realized this is a chance for everybody to hear the names being said correct. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So everyone gets to hear the names correctly. All right. It's Quator. All right. Not quarter. Not Quator. No, he's not a country and he's not currency. All right. Not Quebec. Not that anyone called him Quebec, but it's Quator. So anyway, so like this, like it's just to show his role is just to like be that balance of, I guess, not really diplomacy, but more on the lines of, hey, this is my home. You can come. He's like an advisor in a sense. He's kind of like an advisor. He stands there, observes everything. In a sense, he's kind of like Fleet Master Larion, where he like observes everything and like makes sure everything is going according to plan, without actually putting himself into the field of battle. But obviously that changed in episode 17. But yeah, moving on is Aura. Justin DG, which was actually here earlier in the stream. He makes Eclipse Online for Polychromedia. He's one of the Polychromedia members. He voices my favorite. Aura's my favorite character. I love Aura. I love Justin. And no, it's not because we share the same 2 first letters in our gamer tag, or I guess our little initials. And no, it is not because our names are the same. Yes, I am Justin. He is Justin. Yes, I am DGamer, which is DG. Yes, he is also a DG. No, that is not the reason. I'm saying the reason why Aura is my favorite character is because the amount of emotion he gives Aura in this show, oh my gosh, it just brings me to tears every single time I get his lines. I love it. And like, I'm the person that gives him his deepness, and he even said it himself that apparently I'm the only person that really deepened his voice in a way where he can find it bearable and loves the way he sounds deepened, because like he already has like a semi-deepened voice, so we don't really have to deepen it too much. But because his voice still sounds humanoid, and because he also voices the main character in Eclipse Online, you can't really tell the difference between Hawk and Aura, there is another thing that they are, which is why he is his fave. Really? What is that? We're both Justins and we're both DGs. We're both into anime, I guess that is it. I guess, I'm not sure if this is what he means by that, but I guess my Infinite Guardian series and his Academy of Swords series, Justin has his own Machinima series on his channel. They're in the same universe as well, so that's also really cool. So like, me and Justin actually work a lot together, even beyond Clans of Sanghelios. But yeah, I absolutely love Aura, working alongside Justin and stuff. And so his role is actually to be the other half of the clans. Yeah, you have Zayn, but obviously Zayn is only as strong as the people around him. Like every other person, they're only as strong as the people around them. And we needed a character. Hold on. Oh, haha, funny Barry. We needed a character to really balance out Zayn after losing his father. Yes, Geneva could have been that for him, but Geneva's not going to go on the battlefield. And yes, Atan could have been that for him, but Atan is too busy, controlling the battlefield. So, who better than to fight alongside him than Aura? Someone who he just met in episode 5, or I guess officially in 4, and then had that bond in episode 5 to fight alongside with in episode 9 and whatever happened between 8 and 9 or whatever. So, there's that. And like it really shows that brotherhood, and that again we had that fatherhood. We established that fatherhood with Zayn and Anubis and Aura and Orsis, but we needed that brotherhood, and that is what we established with Aura and Zayn. More importantly, we also have that brotherhood within the Covenant regarding Angiro, Callius, and Brutus as well. So I don't want you guys to ignore the fact that we're not showing that brotherhood. We do have that brotherhood in the Covenant side. But yeah, Aura is a really extremely important character to Zayn and to the whole story of Clan Sanghelios. But not only obviously he's important, but he wouldn't be as important if he didn't have Orsis. Edward James! So, Ed, my dear lad, we did watch a video that he made for us for, right before I actually went to the characters portion of Clan Sanghelios. Ed did a phenomenal job. And like he explained inside his video, I did have to deepen his voice a little bit. But he did a phenomenal job playing Orsis. And episode 17, like I said, is one of the most iconic deaths right next to Anubis and Geneva and Blarhonk and stuff. It was sad. It was absolutely sad. And not only did it really affect Aura's character development, but even Aura and Lara affected Orsis' character development. Orsis and Lara, when they're together, especially in episode 3, when Lara was like, listen, honey, you listen to me. Don't yell at our son like that. No. And Orsis listens. You know he has the utmost respect for Lara. And on top of that, with Orsis talking to Zoltan about his son and the stars and stuff like that, he absolutely loves his son. He loves Aura to death. And he loves Aura to death, but he loves his wife even more, which is why he was ready to die and be with her, because she was dead. And not really showing Lara's death, but showing Orsis' death, I think also really impacted his death even more. Because we showed Geneva's death, but I didn't want to also show Lara's death, because those were the two motherly figures for the two main characters for the clans, which is Zayn and Aura. And I didn't want to show his mom's death, and then right after Aura's, or I didn't want to show Zayn's mom's death, and then after that Aura's mom's death. That would have been too much. So we were to skip Lara's death and just show her dead already, but making Orsis' death even more impactful, and it was, and we accomplished that, and it was all because of Ed. So thank you so much, Ed. But more importantly, it was also because of Justin's voice acting as well, when he discovers that his mom was dead. And to watch, or to even listen to how Orsis speaks to his son now in episode 17. Episode 17, like I said, was one of the best episodes that we have made thus far in these 17 episodes that are out. So yes, thank you so much, Ed, for playing Orsis. You did a great job. An absolute great job. I really hope that we continue to work with you in the future series. And everyone else that I mentioned earlier, by the way, that I've showed characters so far. Actually, some of the people do return. Not as their characters, but as voice actors. Twinkie does voice act some new characters in Series 2. And Megalodon also voices a character or two within Series 2 that are new as well. And so, you got that going for them. Then there's Telcon. So this is actually, I believe, the first character here in this list that people probably wouldn't consider a main character, only because he doesn't have that spotlight as the other characters mentioned before him. However, we consider moderate characters or returning characters just as important as main characters. Deldor, which voices Telcon here, it was the person that showcased the Covenant in this makeshift radar system that Barry managed to build and managed to forge here, which is really unique. Actually, it was really cool how he did that. But yeah. So Telcon actually returned in episode 2, or no, he appeared in episode 2, but returned in episode 9 at the beginning. That when Atan was talking to him about the labor camp, he returned in episode 12, saying, "Oh yeah, the Island Clan Banshees are coming." That was Telcon that they were speaking to. So like Telcon obviously is important. He voice acted, or Deldo voice acted Telcon in multiple episodes. So being a communication specialist for the clans is an important role, and that was his role in the series. It was for communication. Then we move on to the Chiefs. Blar Honky Honky Honk. Blar Honk playing Blar Honk was the most unique character for two reasons. One, he's not voice acted by anyone. He is strictly voice acted by sound effects, and the reason why is because Barry had this unique idea for just using Halo sound effects just for the character. I was all for it. I don't normally see that happening. Yeah, we have some elites that speak Sangheli, and a majority don't. But we have subtitles for you guys, so you guys can read. And Blarhunk was just that really important character. Just had that main uniqueness that that was added to the series to make it really, really cool. Barry. That's funny. And so, like, Blarhonk just really added that specialty, that specialness that we needed for the series. So, obviously, his death in episode 17 was also really impactful to us because we wouldn't have that uniqueness anymore, but he would always be a memorable character because of how unique he really was. So, I love Blarhonk. He was literally there just to be unique, but also to add some flair to the series. Then there's Ragarth, which is voiced by Jake Sutton. If you don't know who that is, that's Thanarix or Incinerox as well. Ragarth, which I guess Ragarth and Tenzin aren't really known too much, but there are two other chiefs within the Mountain Clan alongside Anubis, Orsis, Chakao, and Blarhonk. Chakao is also in this list somewhere. He is important to showcase that there are not other clans, but other villages within the series. Yes, Tenzin and him are rarely apart. I believe Ragarth actually shows in less episodes than Tenzin. Tenzin is actually in episode 9 and Ragarth isn't. But we actually make up for that because we have some added scenes that we want to film for Clan Sanghelios as a whole, where Ragarth is actually in a scene that Tenzin isn't, when it shows more of Ragarth as a character and stuff. So Ragarth is literally only there for an extra chief, because like not everyone should have a really, really important role, but they do have a mark. They do leave a mark within the story, and that is Ragarth. Ragarth leaves a mark because he is a chief that is necessary for story development and character development. Then you have Tenzin, which is voiced by Tatsumari. He, again, is one of the same things like Ragarth. He was needed because we needed story development and character development for other characters. And Tenzin and Ragarth being the only two Spec Ops Mountain Clan based elites, there has to be a story behind that, you know? Because if you go back and watch all 17 episodes, you do not see not one Mountain Clan based Spec Ops elite at all, besides those two. And there is a story on why they actually have Spec Ops armor and not, you know, the other general, ultra, or minor armor like everyone else. But I will explain that regarding the post-cost section of the stream. But yeah, again, Tenzin was needed for the added on story elements to the series. And again, Tenzin actually is are you watching stuff in the background? I hear distance. Oh no, it's really hot in my house, so there is my window open. And you can hear people outside, so that's who you're hearing. But yeah, so that is really important to the story. Then there is episode 3 characters like Lara. Victoria St. Martin. She voices Lara. She loved her intro. Episode 3, that was a great intro to her character. I love the music to it. Lara is a really strong female lead. I won't say she's as strong as Frigga. Frigga's definitely stronger only because Frigga's a warrior, and we don't really see that as much in machinimas nowadays as female Sangheli leads, being warrior and fighting types. They're more of supporting roles, like Geneva's a major supporting role, Lara's a major supporting role, and stuff like that for these characters. But Frigga, which I will talk about later, she's a badass. Yeah. This stream is featuring the outside world. I am not a shut-in. Yeah, her intro was absolutely amazing, absolutely phenomenal. I love watching her intro. But yeah, her role is to be that motherly figure, like Geneva is for Zane, but for Aura. And she was also supposed to be that support, that weight for Orsis being such a strong and aggressive character. She was that balance, you know? And so that was her role. Then you got my boy Brutus. Brutus being the first of the three underlings officially introduced. Brutus's role, which not a lot of people actually know, which is also voiced by Megalodon, by the way. He voices Zoltan and Brutus. Brutus's role was strictly to be that trigger, to be that Covenant trigger for Ra when he made that final decision to kill Anubis. Brutus is like Ra's negative energy. Like that negative energy he feels for the clans. If Brutus was not around, Ra probably could have had a change of heart and maybe would have ended up like Callias and joined the clans. But because he had Brutus there, he never betrayed the Covenant. Although he was almost swayed, Brutus was that voice. And we kind of got, or at least I kind of got a reference from Lord of the Rings, where I think it was I don't know, Barry would know this actually, but I don't know if it was the second movie where they had that one guy with really black hair, and he kind of looked like he was like an advisor, but like a kind of like evil advisor, and it was kind of like poisoning the king or whatever. In one of the movies for Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, Brutus was kind of like that. He is also returning a role for the OG. Oh yeah. Megalodon. Wait, Megalodon voiced Brutus? Okay, cool. Megalodon, I didn't know this, but Megalodon also voiced the Brutus in the original series. So that's really cool to know. Actually, quite a bit. I should have mentioned that I'm pretty sure Tenzin and Rhaegar and Bloodhonk are all three new characters, by the way. I should have mentioned that earlier. Telkon, I believe, is also a brand new character. Some of the characters were new and only for Mythos, and other characters are actually added on to, or added back, I'm sorry, from the original series. Grima Wormtongue. I think I pronounced that. But yes, see, I knew Barry would know who I'm talking about. That sinister voice to really corrupt someone, you know, that's Brutus's role. And he played that well. He played that really good. But alongside episode 3, list of characters, was Chief Chakal. Not many people would know about this. Obviously because he only appeared in episode 3 and died in episode 3. But Treyaz 16 voiced Chakal, and the reason why he's here is because again, he is a chief. But I also mentioned that we were going to be adding more scenes into, like, hopefully a director's cut that we could possibly make. That's one of your little hints that what we're going to be doing post Cost Actory. But Chakal will be in episode 2 if we can do this director's cut, and so he will be in multiple episodes. He'll be in episode 2 and episode 3. But yes, Chakal is actually really important to the story to show that. Again, it's another trigger story element to show what the Covenant is going to be doing to the clans. We never had Covenant and clan interaction until episode 3, so that is the main focus of episode 3. Anyway, actually, also that's the main role of Chakal. So Treyaz, thank you for voicing Chief Chakal, although it was a very short episode, or a short moment for you. Then we have Karuri. Now, these next two characters, Karuri and Parthax, the reason why they're on this stream and the reason why they have posters and stuff like that, I won't give too much information, but this character is actually the first character displayed to show that to show the connection between Clans of Sanghelios and the other 11 series. Karuri is actually an original character from a different series within the Mythos Universe. Here's a little background regarding the Mythos Universe that I forgot to mention, but the Mythos Universe had started before. Like, it was attempted like a few years ago by me and a few other people and stuff like that. And we kept adding more people and more people. Actually, the original people that we have now were all the same people from back then, towards the ending of it. But because we already had these machinemas already out, we had to rearrange, or not really rearrange, but we had to figure out a way for any future episodes or any future parts for those characters and for those stories to fit in our own series when we were still making them separately. You know, we weren't really united at that point to really establish a full-fledged Mythos universe. So it's kind of like when you watch Agents of Shield now, and then the MCU movies now. Down the line, Agents of Shield kind of started doing their own thing and didn't really mix with the MCU movies, which is kind of upsetting because I really love their crossovers and stuff. But it was kind of like that, but the opposite. Like we already had our own established things, but we had to then figure out how we were gonna cross over. So doing this new Mythos Universe version, we managed to cross over stuff perfectly because we're starting from the very beginning. And the very beginning is Series 1, Clans of Sanghelios. So Kavuri, which Barry originally voice acts actually in that old series, is his first appearance, which he's a shipmaster, not a fleet master. So yes, they share the same field marshal armor with Larion. He's just considered a shipmaster. He only owns a ship, you know. He doesn't own a full fleet. So anyway, his moment in time when he shows up in episode 5, that his only role is to just be a cameo. It's just to be a connection cameo, and that's it. If you know where Kawari is from, that's all cool. You know, you can put it inside the chat, minus you, Barry, because I know you know where it's from, because you voice out the character. But other than that, I wouldn't really want to spoil it for people, because again, that is a series we're going to be working on. What series that is, I will not share. But yes, so Kawuri is returning. That is going to be a character returning in its original series. So yeah. And then we got the other character that's just like Kawuri, Parthax, voiced by Gengar Studios. I think this is actually the first Elite he voice acts, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he voice acts someone early on. But this is the first main character, I guess, Gengar voice acts. And although he's only in one episode, which is episode 5, obviously Parthax, just like Kawuri, will return in a different series. Parthax is an original character as well. But he didn't have a voice actor because this series that's returning, it didn't exactly have. It was never produced actually. I think 3 of the series within out of the 12 never were created before, and so there's nothing about them out on YouTube at all. So, you know, seeing Parthax alive and with a voice is really important to the creator of it. And I'm not gonna say who the creator of it is. So yeah, can I leave the series acronym? Oh yeah, sure, you can do the series acronym, that's fine. But I will not say it in stream, so if you're not watching the stream, if you're looking at the chat, that's what the acronym will be. But yes, Parthax is from a different series than Kawuri. So yeah, another cameo character. Then we have episode 6. This is when this character shows up. Atan, my character. So Atan's his role is to do 4 things. Is not necessarily to replace Anubis, but because Anubis dies in episode 8, he needed to be that father figure for Zane. So that's Atan's role. All right, to be that father figure, but also to still be that uncle, to where Zane knows that he's the uncle, and so Atan will always reference, "Hey, your father this, your father that. I am not your father." But you know, I will always watch over you as if you were my own son. That is that father figure role. The second thing is to lead the Legionnaires. He's the leader of the Legionnaires, which is the silver primary, and then secondaries, the tan, khaki, or brown. It's to show that the secondary colors are to show that they're a part of the Mountain Clan only, and that's a army or a military branch within the Mountain Clan only as well. So you'll never see the Legionnaires in any other clan. It's strictly for the Mountain Clan, which I think is really cool. The third thing is to be a war chief, I suppose, in Act 2, so he will be leading a lot of the fights and stuff. Which is why you mostly see him on the battlefield in episode 12 and episode 9. And even in episode 17, you see him mostly on the battlefield and stuff. He does the diplomacy part of it. Within episode 16, he does like the fighting. He's supposed to be doing that only because Zane is not old enough to really do that for himself, you know? And so that's why Atan does that part of the role. And then the fourth role is to still keep that family sense. You know, he has relations with Geneva, and not to be like, oh, I love you, Geneva, or whatever. I know you're with my brother. No, none of that, you know? It was to respect his brother's wishes and to keep their family safe. Obviously, he can't really do that if he's in the Forest Clan and the Mountain Clan gets attacked. You know, he can't really do that. Geneva dies. Boo-hoo. Atan tried his best. He was going to try his best to protect Zane. So, that is his fourth role, is to protect his family. Obviously, you'll see more of Atan within Act 3. My voice is inside Act 3, so he will return. And you'll see his role continue in Act 3. So I'm really excited for you guys to see how Atan matures and how much he probably changes within Act 3. Then there's Deldor for Episode 7. Deldor not only voice acts Telecom, but he also voices Angiro, which is the deepest voiced character. I think right behind him is Parthax, which Gengar Studios voices. But yes, Angiro, one of my favorite underlings just by voices alone. Angiro, unlike Brutus, strictly has the role to maintain as the loyal underling. Yes, Brutus was also loyal, but he wasn't loyal to the Covenant as much as he was to Ra. And Giro is loyal to the Covenant more, and it kind of shows that in episode 15. I know, but yet I want to say Giro's role in Sanghelios is to show that brotherhood portion of the Covenant. Because in episode 15, it shows that he cares so much about Callius, cared so much about Brutus, and the fact that Brutus died really affects him, you know. And he didn't know what happened to Callius until episode 16, and to see that Callius betrayed the Covenant really broke him, you know, really hurt him and stuff like that. So his role was for that brotherhood aspect of the Covenant, and I love Angiro as a character, I really do. And the pain that he has, and I mean not the pain, but like the feelings he has for Brutus and Callius really shows in Act 2. Moving on to Act 2 characters. Shinji, voiced by Daniel Davidson. Shinji is the first Island Clan character we actually get to show. What's really important about Shinji is that he kind of balances out the story of Act 2 by being the character that is the opposite of a Mountain Clan character. Because this is the first time you ever get to see Island Clan characters. So you don't really know what to expect about them. You don't really know how their personalities are going to be like. Are they going to be different from the Mountain Clan? Are they going to be the same? Like, what are we supposed to expect, you know? So I believe Shinji is a good example of that. They're very tactical, very intellectual, although they're on an island. Very precise. And I think the focus rifle, given the focus rifles, were a good choice for us because we gave the Mountain Clan needles and stuff like that when we were doing Act 1. So the focus rifles being something very precise and from a distance really helps personality-wise for the Island Clan characters. And then I believe also Shinji as a character was really important because we had another character, Tyke. Tyke was that loud, abrupt character that everyone could love. He's like a big teddy bear. Like I know a couple of people that like loves Tyke. He's their favorite character and stuff. He's voice acted by D3R9, which is also stands for Derp. Derp did a great job. He actually voices quite a bit of characters in this list, but Derp did a great job, and I think Daniel and Derp playing side by side with Tyke and Shinji, and their dynamic between each other really brought to life these characters. And like when it's like adding a ton to it, because obviously you have Zane and you have Aura, and you'll eventually get Ratama Sessa, and they're around his age group. But who does Atan have, you know? So giving him Tyke and Shinji to fight alongside with, I think was really good because it kind of shows that adult connection rather than that young adult connection that Zane and Aura has. So I really love the fact that I got to do that. But yeah, so that's Tyke, and Tyke's role was again to also balance out Shinji, but also show more legionnaire aspect to all of Clan Sanghelios. And he was also the type of character to act a little bit differently. Obviously, we show him here with a gravity hammer. He was that, the Ungoy gas sack. That was one time. I again, episode 9, I have to say, my favorite. I think I mentioned that that was my favorite one to film, but it was also one of my favorite episodes to watch because of that the conversation between the two characters. I love it so freaking much. And I do rewatch episode 9 quite a bit, to be honest. But yes, that was Tyke's role in Act Two. And honestly, Shinji and Tuck were literally only for Act Two. They weren't really for Act Three at all. They were just for extra story and character development for the other characters within Act Two. But even then, Shinji and Tyke, Shinji displaying island stuff, island clan stuff, and Tyke displaying Legionnaires type stuff, were really important to the overall Mythos universe as a whole. But moving on to the next character that was introduced in episode 9, Callius. Callius by Max Stockton, or Paghetti, in our Discord. He being the betrayer in Clan Sanghelios was really important because I think it was either 2 months or 3 months that passed between episode 8 and 9. And we needed to figure out where were the clans gonna be at this point. Like, have they made any progress? Like, what's going on? Obviously, they have the Island Clan with them, but like, is that only it? Like, dude, what's their goal? How did they find Bravi at this labor camp? Like, obviously, they needed to figure out. We needed to figure out something. So we had to have some story that happened in between episodes, in between acts, and then eventually talked about throughout Act Two. So obviously, given that episode 9 revealed that the Mountain Clan were recruiting the Sky Clan, you can kind of suggest or kind of understand that they recruited the Island Clan at the same time, And then regarding Callius being the informant and stuff, how did the Callius get there? It kind of gets hinted on with the fact that in episode 12, Callius left with the Island Clan. So it's the Island Clan. And actually, it was also introduced in episode 9 when Quator talked to Callius about the Island Clan adding them in, or the Island Clan recruiting him in as an informant for them and stuff like that. So obviously, it was the Island Clan's doing to bring aboard Callius from the Covenant to help them out. So Callius's role was for that, but it was also to show, it was also to leave that connection between the Covenant and the clans. We needed someone that was from both sides again, like Anubis was, but this time during it. So like Anubis left the Covenant years ago, but Callius just left the Covenant, so that's still fresh, and it still has some major effects. And so, with that being said, you have Anguro, who lost Brutus, and who also figured that he lost Callius because they couldn't find Callius's body when they were looking through episode 12, or episode 15, where they were on that same island after the fight from episode 12. They couldn't find Callius's body, so he just assumed that Callius was dead. So, when Anguro saw Callius in episode 16, obviously that really affected him and stuff like that. So, Callius is that villain for Anguro, just like Anguro is that villain for Callius, and that is their connection. All right, that is their dynamic and stuff like that. So that's why Callius is really important to the story. The next important character is Thief, Georgie Dawn. We have to have that female representation, and Georgie displays that excellently, just like Liz and just like Vidi. Georgie being the third female main character. Or not Georgie, Neef being the third female main character. Georgie, I don't know if she felt like this, but she had to fill in some really important shoes, considering the fact that Liz and Vidi entered the series at Act 1, and she's entering in Act 2. That's some big roles to fill. 8 episodes were already here, so she was like coming in like smack down in the middle of the series. And she did an excellent job. I love working with Georgie. She is an amazing voice actress. She also voice acts in Roommate Stories alongside Grumpy Elite. I forgot to mention that, but Grumpy Elite voice acts Calvin. In Roommate Stories, I voice act Devin in Roommate Stories, and she voice acts Madeline in Roommate Stories. So all three of us are also in a different series. But yeah, she is so much fun to work with. She loves her character as well, and we love her character. But her role isn't just to play Zane's love interest, but her role is to have what both Orsis and Anubis had, which was that anchor. Anubis's anchor back to reality is Geneva. Orsis's anchor back to reality is Lara. I feel like regarding relationships and stuff like that, for me anyway, to get me out of my bad place, it was always, I don't want to say it was always a female friend or whatever. It was always someone that I cared deeply about, to help me come back to reality. But there is no or at least for me anyway, there was no like sense of coming back to reality, or there was no way to really come back to reality fully, besides someone that deeply loves you, the ways, the way you're. How do I word this? I guess I guess it means something when someone else that's not blood related loves you, but also can bring you back to your senses and stuff. Yeah, your friends can love you at a certain extent, but they won't be in love with you. You know that's something that you can only feel for your SO, for your significant other, no matter if that's no matter your sexual preference, or whether you're in a monogamous relationship or a polyamorous relationship, does not matter. As long as you have that person that really appreciates who you are, and at the present time on who you are, that is that's very important. And that is what Neef is, and Lara is, and Geneva is to their significant others, to Zane, to Orsis, and to Anubis. Like they didn't know them like parents did. Like my mom and dad, they know me since I was born. So obviously they have a different love for me than I would have, or than another girl would have for me in the future. So that's the role for Neef. And that is a very important role to Zane. Because obviously Zane doesn't have that. Yeah, he has his best friend, his brother. He has his uncle, he had his father, he has his mother. But then seeing what his father had back when they were around the same age, or back when Anubis was his age, is really important to the story. And that is also that triggering point in episode 17 where he's like, okay, fine, I'll go to the monastery. Because even if Geneva wished for him to go to the monastery, he probably wouldn't have gone if Neef wasn't with him. And if Atan didn't push him out. So, yeah, that's Neef's role. And Neef did a great job with it. Or Georgia did a great job voice acting Neef. Then there's episode 11. Fleet Master Gutra. Gutra is the third character. Much like Parthax and Karuri from a different series. Gutra is not native from Clan Sanghelios. He's actually in a different series entirely. Tatsumari voice acts him. Tatsumari also voice acts Tenzin. So, Fleet Master Gutra his role was to only show that there was another Fleet Master equal to Larion, and it was to show more of the Covenant diplomatic side to things, rather than the clan's diplomatic side to things. So, Larion is now feeling the pressure because of what Gutra said to him in episode 11. And yes, Gutra will be returning in Act 3. What episode that is, I will not share, but Gutra will return. Unlike Parthax and Karuri within Clan Sanghelios. Again, Parthax and Karuri were only for cameo purposes, but Gutra is actually for story purposes and cameo purposes. I hate people on those motorbikes. But yeah, so that is what's really important. It's that equality that Larion and Gutra both have. Please hurry up and drive by. Oh, that's such a slow quad bike. That's so slow. Oh god. Alright, it should be far enough away. Anyway, moving on to episode 12. The first of the two brothers, Sessa. So at this point, we wanted to show more of the island clans, so we added the two brothers, Sessa and Ratam. What's really unique about Sessa and Ratam is that it's, again, the same scenario regarding Gutra, Parthax, and Karuri. Sessa and Ratam are not originally from Clan Sanghelios. There's three dynamics that you have to look at here. You have characters from the original Clan Sanghelios that Barry created. You have characters within the Mythos Universe from other series that other directors created. And then you have characters like Taik and Shinji, which are Mythos Universe origined, I should say, for what they are, for where we're at now. So what I mean by that is Taik and Shinji are Mythos Universe origined. Basically means that in Clan Sanghelios, this version of it, they're original characters from Clan Sanghelios, but the Mythos Universe version, not the Inspector Barry non-Mythos version. So that's what Taik and Shinji and other characters are. But Sessa and Ratam are, I guess, a fourth version in a sense. They're very, very, very important to the story, much like Ara and Zane at this point. but they're not made from this story. They were actually made in a different story, in a different series that will be returning in the Mythos universe. But yeah, Sessa and Ratam, the brothers. Sessa is voiced by Derp. Derp also voices Tyke. So he actually had two characters here, well shown here, as main characters within Act 2. And Sessa's role is literally just to be that calm younger brother, unlike Ratam. So like, Tyke is that loud-mouthed character, but Sessa, because Dirk plays both characters, Sessa's that relaxed, intellectual side of the island. And not to say that they can't be as loud-mouthed and like as battle-ready as the Mountain, but not many of them are, which is what Ratam is for, which is played by the legit Twinkie. Twinkie also plays Larion. So Ratam is the older brother, but he is also the warrior aspect. He is that fighter of the Island Clan. And so that's why both brothers are really important for the Island Clan's showcasing, I should say. But more importantly, they add, I guess, a more story feel to the Mythos universe in a general sense, because again, Sessa and Ratam are from a different story. But they also add more character development for Aura and Zane being the same age or around the same age as those two characters. So like when you have all four of these characters together, which you do have a lot in Act 3, it is really nice and it's a refreshing feeling, and like the story just it has a nice steady pace with these four characters. So yeah, that is Ratam Sessa's role. So moving on to episode 13 is Typhus, and Typhus is voiced by Jake, who also voices Ragarth. Typhus is obviously the other focus character alongside Aura and Zane. Unlike Sessa and Ratam, although Sessa and Ratam are equally main characters, Typhus is a focus character. I mean, like, he got a full episode for himself, Like, obviously, he is equally as important. And on the thumbnail of the trailer for Act 3, you see Typhus on the left and Zane on the right. So obviously, he is really important. Like, even Typhus in Act 2, he's on the thumbnail for the official trailer. So obviously, he's a really important character. He is the representation for the Sky Clan. Obviously, they get overrun in episode 13 by Angiro and his Spec Ops forces and stuff like that. But yeah, Typhus his role is to be the main antagonist for Clan Sanghelios. Yeah, we have a lot of antagonists like the Lance Generals, we have Fleet Master Larion, we have Angiro and Brutus and stuff like that, but Typhus is Zane's antagonist. Officially, by the way. Like, Larion and Zane do not fight each other. They were never meant to fight each other, from what I'm aware of. Like, Larion, like I said, is the puppet master. He does not get his hands dirty. Typhus is his queen on a chessboard. It's the queen that can go, or maybe a pawn, actually, because a pawn could transform into anything. So I guess Typhus would be that pawn, and like people who ever play chess or whoever plays chess should know that the pawn is the most important piece of a chessboard. So Typhus is that piece. So when you have Typhus going against Zane, in this battle, not really battle of attrition, but battle of story elements, that is when things get real. And again, Typhus is after Zane. You know that because of episode 17, he's looking for the Arbiter's son. But Zane has no idea that Typhus is looking for him. Yes, he had that one eye-to-eye encounter in episode 9, but that is it. That is literally it. Like, they don't know how the Covenant attacked the Mountain Clan base. They don't know why. But, we'll explore that dynamic in Act 3, and I really can't wait for Act 3, because if the official trailer thumbnail doesn't show anything, if you can't get the sense that these two characters are going to interact, then you're missing something, because these two characters are going to interact. Zane and Typhus will conversate at a certain episode, and I just really can't wait for that to be released and stuff. So yes, that is Typhus's role, to be Zane's antagonist and to build more character development for the Covenant side and story development just overall. Then you got his uncle Ogari. Ogari is also voiced by Derp, so Derp voices 3 characters in Act 2. Ogari is literally the opposite of Atan. Ogari and Atan are both uncles to Typhus and Zane. Again, like I said, Typhus is that antagonist to Zane, so everything is opposite for Typhus. And in relation to Zane, Ogari is an uncle that does not care about Typhus. Like, Ogari is like, oh, you should just enjoy yourself, party, woot woot woot, the Covenant will never find us, and all the other stuff. I tried to do my best impression of Ogari, it sucked. But anyway, while Atan is like, I care about you, Zane. You know, watch yourself. I'll fight alongside you. The Covenant's a threat. So Typhus doesn't have that. You know, Typhus has that fatherly figure. As you can tell, that Typhus doesn't actually have a father. He visits his father's grave in the beginning of episode 13. So the only figure he could have potentially looked up to is his uncle, and he can't even do that. So now the only figures he can really look up to is the Covenant, and that is it. So Ogari's role is to be the failure of Typhus's life. It's to be someone he cannot look up to. So who else can he look up to besides the Covenant? And that's the role. Then you get episode 15. So you got ROA Nitrox voicing Zaitan. Again, Zaitan is just like the other characters. Ratam, Sessa, Gutra, Parthex, Kaori. Zaitan is from a different series. I will not tell you what different series, but obviously Zaitan, being who he is, has to either be mentioned in a different series or has to return in a different series. All these characters that I'm mentioning that are from a different series and stuff like that, you can either get a sense that they will return in another series, so obviously they're kind of important, or they will be mentioned in a different series. So whatever they do as like their actions really affects the Mythos universe. So Zaitan is one of those characters. He is the younger brother in the Forest Clan. His role is literally just to bring life to the Forest Clan. Like, again, Shinji, Ratam, and Sessa, they were quality of life for the Island Clan. They were just to have an Island Clan story. Zaitan is the same way. Forest Clan story. Much like him is Zao, by the Incognito Pig. The Incognito Pig, or Nexus Archangel, he voiced acts Zao. Again, much like Zaitan, he's from a different series as well. Oh my gosh, all these quad bikes. Alright, so anyway. So yeah, much like Zaitan, quality of life for the Forest Clan. That's it. So, yeah, well, actually, no, they're also important to show the difference between the Forest Clan and the Mountain Clan. In episode 16, Ara and Zane gets a little confused when watching the Forest Clan, watching Zion and Zhao, communicate and stuff like that, because they're like, this is not normal. Why are they playing, or why are you like having playful banter or whatever? Like, they've been fighting for a while, so they kind of forgot how that was, and I guess they were just that cheerful thing that they forgot about. So that's also the point for Zion and Zhao. And then you get Lilith by X Transcendent X. So she is the other female lead of the series. She's the fourth female lead of the series, and Lilith is important because she is a chief's daughter. She is a chief's daughter, but more importantly, like all female characters so far, she's that supporting role. She's an anchor, actually. She's another anchor character for another character, which, if you haven't seen the connection, it's Aura. Aura, in episode 16, has that moment of connections with Lilith when they're like talking about the ledge and like his purpose in life and all other stuff. So she obviously does return in Act 3, and it's really exciting to have her return in Act 3 and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy the dynamic between Lilith and Aura and whatever they have in store in Act 3 and stuff like that. So, yeah. Then there's Master Kaida. Master Kaida is the second master that we introduced in Clans of Sanghelios. Master Kaida, voiced by Gengar Studios, is his official main character in Clans of Sanghelios. And he is literally, he's the youngest of the four masters, but he's supposed to show the other diplomacy and the way the Forest Clan treats certain things differently from the Mountain Clan. Yeah, you get to see Master Quator for quite a bit, but then you get to see Master Kaida and how he runs things, and that these are two masters talking to each other, both not, I want to say equally skilled, because obviously Kaida did admit that he was trained under Quator at a certain point, that Quator took him under his wing, but Kaida obviously is the strongest one amongst the Forest Clan. So, having two masters speak, which is something we haven't shown yet, is extremely important to the story. Is to show more of that diplomacy within the clans. So yeah, that was Kaida's role. Then you get Frigga, which Frigga is the fifth female supporting character, also voiced by Victoria. After Lara passed on, because we already had planned to have Lara killed off in episode 16, and without actually having her voice act anything in episode not 16, I'm sorry, 17, and she wasn't gonna voice act again after 15, which is really sad because a lot of people were like, "Oh, I really love Lara as a character," and that was in episode 15. I can't wait to see more of her. And when we got those comments, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she doesn't return. Oh no." So giving Victoria Friga was a nice decision on me and Barry's part because Frigga is a badass. Like Frigga is a great character, and you really, really see that in Act 3. And I can't wait until you guys see Act 3. Man, Frigga is a great character. If I can give a hint, which I am going to give a hint, Frigga is equivalent to a Atan. That's how badass she is. Frigga is that badass female character because she's equal to Atan at this point. So, yeah. That is her role, actually. She's actually supposed to be Atan's equal because Shinji and Taika are gone now. So, there. Moving on from Frigga is Master Tarfin. So, obviously, episode 16 showed quite a bit. We showcased the Forest Clan, but we also showcased the Island Clan, their surroundings, and stuff like that. And it was focusing more on them. So you get Master Tarfin, which is the third master in the series, and again voiced by Derp. He was literally just supposed to show more of the Island Clan fighting and how he works, how he controls his clan and crap like that. We didn't get to show that in the Sky Clan. We didn't get to show that master in the Sky Clan, but we will reveal that master in Act 3 for the Sky Clan, and yeah, so that's literally Tarfin's role was just to be a master for the Island Clan and to show that it wasn't just a bunch of chiefs. Like, these clans have masters, Like, they have people watching over them. They have these overseers. Now, he was revealed in episode 16, which is also the last and final character revealed in Act 2. This next character that I'm about to show is actually the first new main character in episode 18 that comes out tomorrow. This character is Luru, which is voiced by Dealina Fisher, which was actually here in this stream. She voice acts Luru. Now, one thing I want to make sure people understand is that she actually is in that trailer. She voice acts in that trailer. The voice that she did originally for us wasn't that. One of the editors for episode 18. For some reason, the audio that he got from her kind of messed up, and he had to redo some editing things for her voice, and that's why she's so deep now. And so we had to keep that deepness throughout the whole entire Act 3. But Luru's role, which I'm not gonna get too much into, but obviously, from what you can hear in Act 3, she's with Zane. So. And obviously she's in 18 and stuff like that. So if Zane is with her in 18, then you can definitely tell that he's in the monastery. And the monastery is for the Arbiter. So her role is to safeguard the Arbiter's legacy and all of that. And I'm not going to go too much into that because, again, 18 releases tomorrow. You can see it there. And yeah, it's just been really amazing working with her. And she's one of the last few characters to be introduced in Act 3. The other characters were actually not really throwaway characters, but they weren't really officially set, unlike her. Like, we actually had a plan for the monastery back at Act 1, and so actually having Luru here in the flesh and the voice and all the ones and O's, because it's all digital anyway, is really exciting that we actually got to this point. But yeah, that is all of the characters for Clan Sanghelios, and then there's obviously more in Act 3, which brings me to my next thing, Act 3. So before we get into Act 3, let's go ahead and watch that trailer, shall we?
You want to search for it, don't you?
My father returned to the valley and died there without finishing the task he had set before him.
Any word from our mutual friends of the sky?
We haven't been able to track down them effectively through the harsh terrain.
I'm certain he had his reasons, but if so unsure, why not ask him?
Part of me just won't believe his motives. I was there for him when his father was killed, but he was not there for me.
Typhus reporting in.
So, it begins.
And that was Act 3 official trailer. That released, I'm pretty sure that released either earlier this month or back in April. But anyway, May 24th, which is tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, Act 3 starts launching 9 weeks worth of Clans of Sanghelios new content. I am so happy. I'm so excited. And I just want to actually point out a disclaimer here. If you're going into Act 3, you know, I know it's the final act and stuff like that, but if you're going to Act 3, or at least Episode 18, with really, really high expectations, I severely suggest not to. Only because Episode 1, the way that was formatted, was just to introduce you guys, to ease you guys into the world, but it left you guys wanting a lot more. And what I meant by that is, it's with that music and that, like, that Covenant scene, and, like, you know, that dark energy and stuff like that, showing that, yo, we're about to go through some shiz, you know. That was Episode 1's ending. It left you guys wanting more with that cliffhanger. With Episode 9, Act 2's beginning, it started you guys right off the bat with some fighting, like some action. We know we lacked of action in Act 1. We wanted to give you guys action straight in Act 2. Act 3 does not do either of those. Act 3 does not leave you guys, well, it should leave you guys with more, but it doesn't leave you guys with wanting more the way Episode 1 did, and does not have any fighting in it like Episode 9 did. Episode 1 is actually world building and not, it's more of mythos building rather than world building. Because right now, again, this is the last and final act. This is the first series, the beginning as well. So we needed to focus more on mythos stuff rather than just story and Clans of Sanghelios stuff. So obviously Episode 18 kind of serves as that purpose. But the way it does and kind of like hints at the direction we're taking with Act 3. And although it is very mythos story based, we still have really great scenes and really great conclusions to people, to characters and storylines and stuff like that. So that's what I want to let you guys know ahead of time. On top of that, the goal for Act 3, again, is just to really develop mythos as best as we can for the last 9 episodes, but also conclude Clans of Sanghelios properly and to end certain character stories the way it's supposed to end at this point in time. Now, I would have to say, what the struggles with Act 3, unlike Act 2 and 1, is that the fact that we obviously got delayed, so like we weren't really on time with Act 3. Act 3 was actually supposed to originally start airing in December of last year. We're supposed to be on series 2 by now. In not post production, but like I think post production, we're supposed to like at least releasing Act 1 by now of series 2. But because of the 16 and 17 delay, and then all the transitions between episode or Act 1 to Act 2, and then the Act 2 to Act 3, it was kind of difficult for us to do that. So our next due date was actually back in April. But we didn't make that one either because, again, new jobs, not enough time. So now the new date is tomorrow. But again, we kept our spring date. We're focused on the springtime. It would have been great back in April, but that's why the trailer came out instead, because the trailer was on a very special cost a day for us and stuff. So anyway, the hardest script for Act 3 for me to write was probably episode 22. And I say 22 was the hardest only because only because of what I had to do. I had a writer's block I'm not gonna lie, I had a writer's block at that point. And it was really hard for me to really write what I wanted to write for that episode. But I got it done. It's also body edited. That's one of the episodes I need to actually edit properly and stuff like that. But that will be releasing next month. That is slated for next month after the first 4 episodes, which is 18, 19, 20, and 21. So it is the 5th episode coming out. But yeah, I had a writer's block for that episode. The hardest one for me to film was episode 20. I really don't know. Probably 20. No. You know what? It probably was 22. And I only say that is because the way I scripted it in like little segments, right? And these little segments, although they were small portions of the script and of the scene, they were still they needed bigger lobbies. And that at this point in time, it was kind of difficult for us to get bigger lobbies because people went back to school, people went back to work, and again, COVID was dying down, so we had troubles getting those body edits. But we ended up getting episode 22 fully done in like one day. And that was probably the most body editing we did in a day for 22. So it was great. So I'm really happy about that. Then the hardest episode to edit, which I haven't edited 22 yet, so I can't really add that in it. But it's probably episode 23 actually. And I only say that is because all I did was I didn't really edit it too much or anything like that. It was Barry mostly did it and the editing team did. I just did the visual effects and the sound effects. It's actually the first time I actually went sound effect heavy kind of for an episode. And that's the only thing that made it hard was the sound effects. So that is probably my hardest episode to edit. But with that being said, if I had to pick my favorite script, it's 26. It's always going to be 26. 26, again, 4 of us wrote it, and it's so impactful, so emotional, and it's so great. My favorite episode, The Body Act, had to be episode 20... actually, yes. It's going to be 22, because we had fun body acting it when it happened. We actually had fun body acting the episode, so that was actually pretty fun to body act. But episode 19 is actually my favorite episode that I edited so far. And the reason why I enjoyed episode 19 is because it takes a turn, right? Not really a turn, but it invites something else, which I'm going to be talking to in a bit. Or not talking to, but talking about in a bit. So, should I talk about that? No, I'm not gonna talk about it too much. But pretty much what we're obviously doing in Act 3, which is going to be different from Act 1 and 2, is this. Let me go ahead and launch this. There we go. So this is the episode 3 or Act 3 trailer. This is what's different. Oh, hold on. Right here. You see this? You see all that? All of that right there. That is Halo 2 Anniversary. Like I said earlier, like really, really early in the stream, Inspirations, Lazy Bunch, Chronicler 177. Like I said, they use the other games for different time periods in their series. We do the exact same thing. Halo 2 Anniversary. Not only that, well, we have Oops. Halo 3. What is that? A human. So all you people were asking, oh, are you guys gonna have humans in the series? Yes, we are. But yeah, so Halo 3. So we had Halo 3 and Halo 2 anniversary, and those are like one of the best episodes for us to work on and stuff. And so like Act 3 is just so different from Act 1 and 2. It gets, like I said, it gets very mythos heavy, which is something that you guys should look forward to, because that's what this is. It's the Mythos Universe, not Clan's Sanghelios Universe. It's the Mythos Universe, you know? So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to work on this. But, yeah, so regarding this, though, because Act 3 is actually the last and final act within Clan Sanghelios, we actually have an opportunity. I hope you guys are actually here, because I want to let you know what this opportunity is. Hold on, did I skip something? I feel like I skipped something. I did not. Cool. After episode 25 launches, there is going to be an opportunity to voice act. All right, it has to be right after episode 25 launches, so you only have 4 days. No, I'm sorry, you only have 3 days to cop, or not really to cop, but to get this role. This role is very, very, very much like episode 8 of Clans of Sanghelios for Anubis. Literally, that is all you gotta say. Not for Anubis, you're not gonna be saying that, but it's the same scenario. And the reason why this is happening, so obviously you're saying characters that might have died or have that will be dying in episode or Act 3 and have already died. You'll say for yada 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 or whatever. And this is also a multiple role, so multiple people will have the same voice line and stuff. Anyway, the reason why we're doing this is because the For Anubis scene in episode 8 was such an iconic moment for everyone. Is that it was such an iconic moment for everyone that till this day, when body acting, people constantly say For Anubis and stuff like that while body acting, and it's been such a great thing, a great experience for us as directors of Clan Sanghelios that we wanted to show our appreciation by adding that as a very touchy moment in Act 3, Episode 26, but also as a Easter egg in a sense, and like as a thank you, and like to let you guys know that we're listening in and we're hearing your cries and stuff like that. So no matter your quality of mic, this is an opportunity for you guys to still to be in the cast for Clan Sanghelios as a voice actor and be a part of something grand and stuff, you know? So yeah, again, I will actually mention this role in the Discord, so I highly suggest joining the Discord. And yeah, but I guess when 26, I'm stretching, I'm sorry. When 26 launches in July, because that's actually when 25 and 26 will release, and maybe 24, what happens, you know? Like, that's the end. What does it mean to end Clans of Sanghelios? Well, first of all, it means we can start Series 2. We can move on to Series 2. But more importantly, it's going to be such an achievement for us, because that is 26 episodes for one series that took us a year to do, or a little over a year to do. But more importantly, it's possible. That's like, obviously we saw that it's possible because Act 1 released. We saw that it's possible no matter our circumstances due to Act 2 release. But even then, when we keep releasing these acts, we prove to ourselves that we can do it. But if we release a full series, all of its episodes are done, we can sit back, have a breather, and be like, wow, we accomplished this. I can watch it from beginning to end and feel fulfilled, because that is the end. I don't have to worry about anything afterwards. Yes, we're in a Mythos universe. Yes, it's a universe. Obviously, I do have to watch episode 1 of series 2 or whatever, and then the future on, just to figure out what's going on further in the Mythos universe. But the Clan Sanghelios story stops, technically, at episode 26. And that is the best feeling that we will ever have. Like, completely. We will only have that feeling from here on out once 26 launches. And then once the ending episode of the next series launches, we'll have that same feeling for the next series, and then the next series, and the next series, concluding something from beginning to end just feels so great, and like I can't wait to have that feeling in July when episode 26 launches. But anyway, so if you're still here within the live stream, I'm actually giving away a Halo 5 rec pack right now. Now if the rec pack code does not work, we will be giving away a Halo Infinite code thing. So obviously you guys will get that Halo Infinite thing. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, not many people play Halo 5, so I might actually skip this rec pack. And I might actually utilize the Halo Infinite code instead for episode 26. So when episode 26 releases, I will probably post a comment down below and be like, hey, just comment your favorite episode out of all 26 episodes. And I will put your name in a loophole or whatever, and then whoever wins gets some kind of Halo Infinite code. It's not going to be for the Halo Infinite game, but it's probably going to be like a cosmetic or something like that for Halo Infinite down the line, or maybe some XP bonuses or something. I don't know. But I think that will be our the go-to for Halo Infinite and for this code. So I'm not going to give away a Halo 5 rec pack. I'm sorry for those of you, which I really doubt there's any of you. But I'm sorry for those of you that wanted that Halo 5 rec pack. If you still want it, you can come to the Discord, let me know, and I'll tell Daniel about it. But yeah, anyway, now we're on section 7, which is something that a lot of people probably are wondering about. What's gonna also happen after Act 3 releases? What's post cost? What are we gonna be doing besides Series 2? Are we gonna do anything else? Are you just gonna release Series 1 and then Series 2 and that's it? Obviously, during the stream, I mentioned a director's cut. Before I get into that, though, actually, I might as well just get into that. The director's cut is the plan, right? In the director's cut, we had fixed up certain episodes. Like right here shows episode 4, on the thumbnail page thing, the poster. In episode 4, if you go ahead and watch it, one of the visual effects, that dust visual effect that Zane destroyed the rock and all that dust the dust particles appeared, that got messed up. That it was off track and stuff like that, and so it really bothered me. I did go back and fixed it, and if the Act 1 movie was still around, you could see the full Act 1 movie. The reason why we took down the Act 1 movie and didn't release an Act 2 movie is because when we tried to release an Act 2 movie, for some reason there was so much copyright music that it actually got banned in America, which doesn't really make sense because, again, those same episodes, we didn't change the music. So those episodes are still available for you guys to watch. But I also uploaded it on a different channel, and Act 2 wasn't blocked. So I don't understand why it was blocked on this channel and not the other channel. It was really weird. So because we couldn't upload Act 2, we were like, well, we might as well just not keep Act 1. That's inconsistent, you know? So we took off Act 1, and at this point, we're just going to make a full-length movie. And this kind of also helps because not every Mythos series is going to be 3 acts. Like, the next series is only going to be 2 acts. But there's going to be a few series that are only 1 acts. And if we do full-length movies of them, there's no point in doing a full-length movie and then a director's cut. We might as well just mix them both together and then just make a director's cut and add the missing scenes to that. Which is another point of the director's cut. Not only are they there for fixes, but they're also there for added scenes. So you get, that Chief Chakal scene from episode 2. We actually add that within the episode 2 frame of the director's cut. Within Act 2, you get more of Ragarth. Like, he will have a scene by himself that Tenzin got, but he didn't, So you'll get to see more, like, new and exciting things within Act 1 and Act 2. But obviously, when Act 3 releases, all that's brand new. But me and Barry will still go back to Act 3 and re-watch all of Act 3 and then write down what we want to add in Sanghelios. And hopefully, the director's cut will release before the year's end. And then there'll be added scenes within Act 3. Which we already planned an added scene for episode 23. So that's going to be really cool. Anyway. So yeah, that's the point of the director's cut. Now, if we can't get the director's cut because of all that copyrighted music, which we aren't really using that anymore for Act 3. It was literally just like music that we used for from TV shows and from movies and stuff that got banned. But we can still use stuff like Audio Machine and 2 Cents from Hell. Anyway, if we can't do the director's cut, we'll be doing a Missing Files video. And the Missing Files video is going to be scenes or clips that we wanted to add into certain episodes. So we'll be like episode 2, Chief Chakal moment or whatever. And then it'll show the scene with Chief Chakal actually stopping, or why he couldn't make the meeting in episode 2. Because if you watch episode 2 and don't watch episode 3, episode 2 and 3 take place on different days. So the fact that Chief Chikao was missing in episode 2 wouldn't make sense to the average viewer without that extra scene on why Chief Chikao could not actually make it to the meeting, you know? And it shows that now with this added scene. So that it's these scenes are necessary for the story to properly make sense, because we know why he couldn't make it, but you guys probably couldn't put 2 to 2 together. We don't really expect you guys to do that all the time. So there's that. Anyway, so that's one of the things, director's cut or missing files. The second thing is the bloopers and bloopers video. Now, the bloopers is for what we've done in the body acting sessions. So again, earlier I mentioned in episode 6, a Wraith shot my Banshee while trying to do the Banshee bombing run. That happened again in Act 3. So like that is some of the other mini bloopers that we have. But like we have cast members that keep their mess ups and stuff like that within their lines, and that's the bloopers portion. So we'll have a mixture of both bloopers and bloopers within this video. It won't be too long, because if it would be long, the bloopers would definitely overtake the bloopers. So it will probably be like maybe a good 10 to 15 minute video of what we did in the body acting and how and what voices what the voice actors have been saying and stuff like that in their lines, and it's been really good. Like Grumpy Lee is like one of the best people to do lines with, because like the stuff he says is just ridiculous, and like the beginning of his lines is great. But yeah, so that's another thing planned: the bloopers and bloopers video, the director's cut or the missing files video. The next thing is the Mythos Champions. Mythos Champions, which actually pertains to the Mythos the Cost Legends thing, which I was going about, which is this, when I was explaining all these all the characters and stuff like that. That was actually for something. So like we didn't make the posters just to like give the voice actor some spotlight or whatever. They weren't just for fun and for promo stuff. They were actually for a reason. And this Mythos Champions is actually something different. So it's not going to be a video. It's actually going to be on a website that I'm going to have to find. And we're going to be writing these story articles, right, pertaining to each character. And actually, let me bring that up. I could have sworn I already had that up here. Oh, wait, no, I do. Oh, wait, no. Okay, so yeah, I had it up somewhere, but pretty much I will make a episodic video. Not really an episodic video, but like a video announcing when a new set of character stories have been released to the public. I've done this before with my Infinite Guardian cast. Like Liz Dance, she used to be an Infinite Guardian. She voiced Alessa in the series, and she made a backstory for Alessa called the Blade Dancer. Davril, which also voice acts in Act 3, by the way, here in Sanghelios, he voice acted the Guardian Hunter in Infinite Guardian, and he made a backstory for his Guardian Hunter character. And another voice actor named Lucas, he voiced Ray inside Infinite Guardian. He also made a backstory for his. So you get the point. These voice actors created backstories for their characters, and obviously, to a certain extent, I guess those voice actors had more creative freedom because Infinite Guardian was a made-up world. And unlike Sanghelios is a world set in a specific universe that we have to take details from. So we would most likely be creating backstories for these characters. But more importantly, these backstories would answer a lot of different questions. So like, let me go ahead and talk about a couple of them. Like, for example, in Callius, for example. Callius, there's a big gap in Callius' story. Why did he betray the Covenant? That story is answered. That story is legitimately answered within the the Mythos Champions stuff that we're going to be writing. And we actually have a set team for that. So when I was talking about the Discord earlier, I mentioned a Legends chat, and that pertains to this. So we actually have a writing team that will be writing these stories, and these stories are written as it's kind of like scripts in a way, but like as like an actual chapter book. So like you'll read the chapters, and you're like, Callius saw the flower, and he plucked it from the ground, sniffed its aroma, and it reminded him of his home, or something like that. Like it would be like that, narrated from that point of view, but also have voice acting work. And the reason why we decided to do it this way and not make regular shorts is because, well, one, we're busy. We're busy making series 2, right? And we're also making the director's cut at the same time. and finishing up series 1. So we can't just work on something completely different like this. So we have a writing team that can sit at a computer, write down the story, and it wouldn't be mandatory because like, or not really mandatory, but it wouldn't be time gated because we can do this whenever. And again, like these will be in bundles. So there's 8 episodes planned, or I guess 8 videos planned to release on my end to announce these bundled story packages. So in episode 1, we have Ra's story, so you get to hear more about Ra. We have Ara's story, so you get to hear more about Ara. We have Telkon's story, so you get to hear more about Telkon. And we have Tyke's story, so you get to hear more about Tyke. Some of the episodes will have 5 characters, others will have 4. One actually has 6. So, and by the way, this is actually randomized, so like I did it like a little spinny wheel and decided where I wanted these stories to land. So this is like the blue story. The blue story is episode 1, and that's Ra, Ara, Telkon, and Tyke. Again, no specific order, but you get to see more about those stories. So like, I guess because all 4 of those characters were introduced, I can talk about their stories. Ra's story is about the Mountain Clan and why the Mountain Clan abandoned him. You know, during that time, during the recruitment, the first time the Covenant were there on Sanghelios. So like how and why Ra was abandoned and how he joined the Covenant. So that story is about that. Then we have Ara's story, which is why Quator chose him to train. So like in episode 2, you see Quator training Ara, but why did Quator choose him out of everyone? You know, there has to be a reason. For Telkon, we show actually for Telkon's story we show why he's suited for coordinating and why he was there for radar stuff and all that. Why he's behind the radar, not on the field. We actually showcase that. And that's actually during another clan invasion. So like this is actually before even the Covenant was a thing, or not really the Covenant was a thing, but before the Covenant got there, we showed Telkon coordinating against another clan and stuff like that. How he helped the Mountain Clan survive that battle. And then with Tyke, how he got recruited to the Legionnaires. You know, so those are the 4 stories in episode 1 that we will be talking about. Yes, they will have titles. Thumbnails probably maybe, I don't know if we'll actually have thumbnails for those, but obviously they'll need cover pages, and we don't know exactly where we're going to be writing them on, but it's going to be really exciting. We're going to be covering every single character that actually receives a poster, and it's really cool. Like even Parthax and Cavalry, although they're only in that 1 episode, we actually have something for them, I believe. Hold on. Oh yes. They are some of the I forgot to mention, but some characters actually they share stories. So Parthax and Cavalry actually share a story, and it's pretty much their role in the Covenant. So that's their story. But anyway, yeah. So that's something else. So that's the 3rd thing that we're going to be doing after Clan Sanghelios ends. The 4th thing we're doing, which kind of explains what Ed did, is a vid doc. We're actually going to be creating a vid doc, which is the production vid doc. I don't know how long it's going to be, like honestly, but it's more stuff like what Ed did. So Ed maybe will be recording something new after, because the way the vid doc is going to be structured is by answering questions that I will be writing. We have cast members answering questions. We have body actors answering questions. We have editors answering questions. We have the Mythos squad answering questions. We have me and Barry hosting it as creators of Clan Sanghelios and the Mythos Universe and stuff. So like the vid doc is going to be really cool. Probably very long, and not necessary to watch at all. But it is extremely fun. It's just another thing to watch. It's the ending of Clan Sanghelios, and it's the vid doc. It will be at the ending of every single series, by the way. So, even the Forgers are going to be there too. So like them creating the maps and how what was their inspirations for certain maps and stuff. That's going to be there. So you know, maybe you're a Forger and wants to hear something from another Forger that managed to get their map in a series like this, and you want to know how to get your map in a series like ours or whatever. So you know, kind of like that. So that's the 4th thing that comes out after Clan Sanghelios. Then there's one more. Well, minus, again, Series 2. Shorts. Yes, we're not making character shorts. Like the Mythos Champions, again, they're just stories written by us. But that doesn't necessarily mean we're not making shorts. The reason why we haven't made a Clans of Sanghelios short or a short within that time period is because I really don't want to have to make a series revolving around a short. I want the shorts to revolve around the series, because the series, you can watch the series without even watching shorts. Like, yes, the shorts are really important to either character, story, or mythos, but not as important as the actual series content that we'll be releasing. So the reason why we haven't done shorts so far is because I wanted the 26 episodes to be released and then us decide whether or not we're going to make shorts, because there's only 3 sets of shorts we can do, and one set is before Cleansing Sanghelios. So if it's going to be before Cleansing Sanghelios, it has to make sense. Like, it has to be on Sanghelios, or it has to be an event that was spoken about within Act 1 or Act 2 or Act 3. You know, like, we can't just do something completely like with humans or whatever, but not include the fact that they were in the Covenant. Like, we can't do that. It doesn't make sense. Then you have a Cleansing Helios short during, or you have shorts during Cleansing Helios. So, like, obviously that time period between Act 2 and Act 3, or the time period between Act 1 and Act 2, like, what happens then? Or, a time period, hold on. Alright, cool. A time period between something else, like what were the other clans doing. Oh, I forgot to mention that Neef is a part of the Savannah clan, by the way. But anyway, but yeah, what was the Savannah clan, or better yet, no, the Sky clan? Like, make a short about them, like what happened after that fight, so, or after episode 13, and how did they get to where they are in Act 3? So, there's a lot of things that we could do, but we're not going to pursue all of them. We're just going to pursue stuff that we feel like would be a fun experience to do, but also not necessarily necessary. Then you have stuff between Series 1 and Series 2, which technically speaking would be the only thing that would technically count as before a series. So, but this still has something to do with Series 1. Maybe like having a character that returns from Series 1, and maybe have a character introduced that is that's relevant to Series 2, or maybe having an event that affects Series 2 or something like that. I don't know, but we'll be able to do that too. But on top of that, we'll be able to do like I guess we can do shorts that has nothing to do with either or, but like I guess they'll, or at least by that I mean like we don't have to have characters from either or series, but they'll still reference what's going on within Series 1. And I guess having a short before that takes place before Series 2 and that releases before Series 2, we would have to actually have at least Act 1 script fully done and only pertain to that, because then we wouldn't really be working around the short. The short will be working around Act 1 of Series 2. So that would be the only way for that to work. But anyway, yes, Machinima Mythos shorts will be coming out after Cleansing Helios as well. Which might actually put a damper on the production for the future series, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that is all I got for Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Cleansing Helios, what's after Cleansing Helios, and stuff like that. But let's dive into the meat, like the nitty gritty of what's officially after Cleansing Helios. Like, where do you go from Series 1? And that is none other than Series 2. This was revealed in the Mythos 2020 trailer at the beginning of the year. I don't think anyone really realized that Unity coming soon in 2020 and Redemption coming soon in 2021 referenced 2 different series. Redemption did not refer to Clans of Sanghelios. It did not. Unity is the theme for all 26 episodes. Redemption referred to Series 2. Which, if you're not following us on Twitter, you should fix that and follow us on Twitter at PolycoreM. But, and if you're not on our Discord, just join again. But, pretty much, Redemption stands for Series 2, and Series 2 is Heroes of Insidia. That is the name of Redemption 2, or Series 2. And, yes, the theme is Redemption. Obviously, the color scheme is blue. And, so far we're in pre-production. It is a human focused series, so obviously we don't exactly have many Sangheli in this one. It changes drastically from going from Sangheli to human. That's a big change for us as well. So watching it wise will probably be a big change for you guys. So let me think if I can think of a loose plot. So pretty much it's a Spartan squad that is returning from the shadows in a way, and trying, I guess, to redeem their I don't want to say honor, but like trying to redeem their name after an incident that happened in the past, and which will be revealed in the series and stuff. But more importantly, they work with another person to rectify their wrongs, and the character dynamic and the character connections between all these new characters and stuff is really intense, I should say, and it's definitely different than Clan Sanghelios. So it's a completely different tone, I should say, compared to Series 1. But it's a really cool tone. It's a fun tone as well. And again, some voice actors from Clan Sanghelios do return in Heroes of Insidia. Like I said, Twinkie voices a few characters. Megalodon voices characters. Derp voices characters. Daniel Davison voices characters. Victoria, she voices characters and stuff like that. So people do return in Heroes of Insidia. And then there's obviously new cast members in Heroes of Insidia as well, and stuff. And then obviously there will be Clans of Sanghelios characters in Series 2. Because you can't just have a series that takes place after the original series that started everything and not actually have stuff from Series 1, you know? Who those characters are, I will not tell you, obviously, because that spoils everything. But do keep your eyes open, for returning characters from Series 1. And references from Series 1, because there are huge references in Series 1 that also goes into Series 2. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. Anyway, but if you're wondering actually how to like help us out, we are recruiting voice actors for extra roles. Like again, I said this earlier, but we don't actually fill out the roles until the scripts are made, and we're still in pre-production, so we're still making the scripts. We still need forgers, so if you guys are really good at forging, join our Discord, let us know. If you guys know anyone that's really good at forging, let us know as well. Body acting, we're always recruiting body actors, especially because this series is probably going to be created while Halo Infinite releases as well. So we're going to need some loyal body actors that would like to join us back on MCC even while Halo Infinite's out. But yeah, being one of those three things gets you a part of the HOI chat, which again, we share we share like the first few minutes of scenes. We share these posters that you guys saw earlier. We share that. We share, when an episode's done, we share the release dates for everything. We share content to those people because they also work hard helping us out, and this stuff wouldn't have happened without them. So yes, if you're interested in helping us with Series 2, just let us know and join our Discord or put in the comment section if you've made it this far in the stream. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say regarding Series 2. I'm not gonna talk much about it anymore. Act 3 releases tomorrow, so I thank you guys so much for watching this stream. Thank you guys so much for sticking by us throughout Clan Sanghelios. Voice actors, forgers, body actors, editors. Thank you guys so much. And fans. You guys get the biggest thank you because, we wouldn't really be doing this without your constant support and your constant love. But you guys can show the utmost support by actually joining our Discord and talking to us. We would love to talk to you guys. And yeah, just showing that you guys love the series, or even like maybe dislike the series but would like for it to change or whatever. I guess it's kind of too late for Clan Sanghelios, but like, you can say some criticism regarding camera angles or whatever, and then we could probably rectify that in future series. But either way, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys enjoy Act 3. And before I head out, don't forget to subscribe to Public Media, follow us on Twitter, join our Discord, and click the notification bell on our YouTube channel. And now I shall be doing something that I do every single month when we're about to release a new set of episodes for a certain month. Manage videos in 5, 4, 3. Oh wait, hold on. That's it right here. 3, 2, and publish. I think that published. I'm honestly just waiting for an announcement in my Discord because we have Me6 announcing our published videos. Oops, let me just refresh. Either way, if it's on your subscription feed, obviously you should be subscribed to Public Media by now. I just released the Clans of Sanghelios Act 3 May teaser trailer, so go ahead, go watch that right now. Showcases stuff from episode 18 and episode 19. May 24th, May 31st, let's go. Enjoy Act 3, and I believe this actually ends it. Does it end it? Yes, it does end it, kind of. I was actually supposed to be uploading episode 18 while this was going on, but I'll actually upload this later. I'll upload episode 18 later tonight. So again, I'm going to be uploading episode 18. It's going to be a premiere episode like all the other ones are. Click that notification for it because you don't want to miss the premiere. You can always chat with me while I'm there, chat with Barry, chat with all the other people that participate in those premieres.